sweater, can't seem to forget her. I'm too sublime, I think it's time for us to get together. Waiting on you forever. Come get inside this four-wheel drive.
Hey, hop on up in this truck. Girl, you pretty as a peach, so we gon' get stuck. Try to hit her with the front, but that dog won't hunt. You can miss her with the stunts, her mom ain't raised no chump. Nah, homegrown with them high heels on. Trying to get her all along so we can sing these songs. Cause she hotter than blue blazes. Look at them dude daisies. Too cute and them boots and driving dudes crazy.
Homegrown, body spinning like a cyclone. Those days at Dukes and bullshit got on. Made me wanna get you all alone. Brother, she's homegrown.
Too fine, get me drunker than moonshine. I reckon you can have my heart, I'm trying to make you mine. So we can dance until the cows come home. Got me begging like a dog, just let me bury my bone. I can take it to the creek and we can sleep outside. I bet my bed don't squeak cause I got four-wheel drive. If you take me for a ride, I bet you gon' get tired. Cause believe it, baby, make it last all night.
Take you to the creek, bed down in the harbor. Spend a little time and a few of my dollars. Your way to find not be mine. Oh girl, I'll take you fishing. You don't know the love you're missing. I'll treat you right into the night. Homegrown, body spinning like a cyclone. Those days in Dukes and boots you got on make me wanna get you all alone. Brother, she's homegrown, body spinning like a cyclone. Those days of Dukes and boots you got on make me wanna get you all alone. Brother, she's homegrown.
Yeah, they don't make them like her anymore. She's homegrown.
Yes, sir. Let's go. It's Friday nights, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready? Hopefully you guys had a great week. If not, maybe we can make it a little bit better tonight here at Glick's House of Music. You guys know me. I am Glick, a.k.a. the champ. Again, welcome. If you guys are not already, go ahead and check out the network. If you guys haven't heard of the network, you've been living under a rock. What are you doing? We're doing shows 7 days a week. All right? It's the Nonsensical Network. We are on all the social media. It's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. I'm old, and I'm just going to stick with what I know. It's Twitter to me. We're also on the Tiki-Taki. You guys can also hang out with us live Monday through Sunday on the YouTube and Facebook page. And you can listen to us anytime, any place, wherever you listen to podcasts at, all at the Nonsensical Network, or you can /Nonsensical Network. All those links are there. You guys know the drill. Give us a like, give us a follow, and if you'd be so kind, give us a share. A share goes a long way, and it's free, ladies and gentlemen. It is free. Like I said, I mentioned we have shows 7 nights a week. Monday nights, we kick it off with Men Caring for Men. It is a men's mental health show. Tuesday nights is Jeff's Garage. If it fits in a garage and it has a motor, Jeff and the guys are going to talk about it. Wednesday nights is What the Fuck News, and if it's in the news and it makes you go, what the fuck, we're going to talk about it. Thursday nights is Talking Shit with Mark and Brian, and they're going to be doing interviews. They got actually a full plate of interviews coming up, so those guys are busy. They just had a recent interview with Al Snow. Check those guys out. Make sure you give them some love. Friday nights is this guy right here with Glick's House of Music, and you know what I'm doing. I'm interviewing musicians, hanging out, having a good time, getting to know them a little bit better, and introducing you all to some of their music. Maybe you guys have heard of them. Maybe you guys haven't heard of them, but can you give you the opportunity? Saturday nights is Nonsensical Nonsense. It is the cornerstone foundation of the network. It's unhinged, unapologetic, comedy-based. We like to do our thing, have fun, but we throw a little twist into it, if you will. We call it the Open Door Challenge, and we drop the link right there in the chatters box, and we encourage and invite anybody and everybody to bring their asses up on camera and hang out with us. We have 2 rules. Make sure you got a camera, and please keep your pecker off that camera because nobody wants to see it. And if you do show it, we're probably going to make fun of you. And last but not least, we end the week up with our boy Jerry Vichy, aka Jarvis, with the Jarvis Podcast. He's only got 1 more show left, ladies and gentlemen, and then we're retiring him. We're rebranding him. I'm not telling you what we're going to rebrand him as, but there is a rebranding coming. But he's got 1 more show left this Sunday night. It'll be his 5-year anniversary. Check it out. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, we kicked off the show tonight with Homegrown by Derek Wayne Douglas, featuring this name's a tongue twister. I thought Nonsensical Nonsense was hard, but Al Axe. And I did that on purpose because, ladies and gentlemen, we got Derek hanging out with us here tonight in the House of Music. I'm going to go ahead and get ready and bring him up on stage so you guys can be introduced to him. Derek, what's going on, buddy?
What up? Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you loud and
All right.
clear. You sound good.
All
The
right,
camera
cool,
looks
cool,
good.
cool.
What's going on, man? We were having a fun little chit chat behind the stage, and I totally lost track of the time. I was like, shit, we got to start a show.
Yeah.
First and foremost, every Friday night I start the show off the same way. Cheers to you, brother. Hopefully you had a good week.
Cheers.
Man's not playing. He's got a damn Monster Stanley.
Yeah, man. I want it to stay cold.
Nice. If you drink them fast enough, you don't have to worry about that.
That's true.
So, Derek, I want to ask you right off the rip, buddy. What do you classify your music? I've been telling everybody you're a rapper / country singer. I don't want to call you hip hop because I think that's kind of an insult. I'm not a fan of hip hop.
Well, I was gonna say it's kind of. I don't really know what to call it myself either because I started off as full on hip hop and I was a rapper, and I always sang country music like just to myself because of my dad, and so I just finally decided to kind of just, full on be who I am and kind of blend everything together. And I do sing a little bit, and I rap as well. You know what I mean? So I don't really know. I guess a country hip hop artist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I always tell everybody because I seen on your Instagram, you got a new song coming up. And I like it. I like the sound so far.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. And that's more, pop, like a more of a pop country song, what we're used to now.
Right.
Right. You and I grew up in a different era. We're the same age.
Yeah.
Country was a lot different when we were growing up than
that's right
today. But I'm looking forward to the new single. I like it. I like the sound of it so far. But I like the stuff out there. I was telling you backstage earlier, I stumbled across you on Instagram, which has kind of been what's happening a lot lately. I'm stumbling across a lot of really cool artists on Instagram. And the first thing I do is go, they got a YouTube channel. Let me go check out the rest of their songs.
That's what's up.
And I was listening to the music. I was listening to your songs on there. I was like, all right, I got to reach out. And see if I can get him on the show because I'm a fan. I like what you're doing, man. It's different. It's different from what you hear with other rappers who have that country style as well.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I'm not mad at it. I like it. I like it a lot.
I appreciate it.
How long have we kind of started talking about this a little bit, but how long have you been doing the music thing?
Man, a long time. Making music, like actually creating music, hell, it's probably been almost damn 20 years. But I started on this journey about probably 26 years ago when I was 16 years old. Yeah, what happened was I grew up in a poor family, and just hanging out, and I ended up we moved. At first, we were fine. I lived in a house on the river. It was cool. You know what I mean? It was low key. You know what I mean? No big deal. I got in a little like trouble, but it was like normal shit.
Yeah, like
And
normal
then,
kid shit.
yeah. And then we moved into this place called Madison out here in Nashville. And it's ghetto, man. I'm talking about like I walked down the street, man. It was like crackheads, everything, you know. I put you like this. I was the minority in this neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds
So
like it sounds exactly like where I live with my mom. And in I'm from Ohio, and when I lived with my mom growing up, she lived in Columbus. So it sounds like my old neighborhood in Columbus.
right. And so I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? I'm just growing up, just living life, you know what I mean? I was like 12 by the time we moved over there. And, this is just, I didn't know no different. This is just a place. This is life. And then I ended up with some, hanging out with like some gangs, and, I sold weed and did stupid shit, you know what I mean? And then when I was 16 years old, we were all hanging out there was a friend's house. His dad was cool. He'd let us just drink and do whatever, And we're in there hanging out, drinking, smoking, and a do or die song come on the radio. And I don't know why, but I just like blacked out for a minute, the whole song, and just started rapping. I just started freestyle rapping for like 3 minutes. And I couldn't tell you why I did it. I just, I don't know.
Oh no, I don't know if that's him that dropped or me that dropped. Let's see here what happened. Maybe me, or maybe the whole show. The whole show. Nice. Can't beat that. Nope. Wait a minute. We lost Derek. Okay, I had to double check because I know sometimes my internet's a little bit sketchy. Let's see here. There we go. We'll get him back. We'll get him back. Don't worry. This is not our first run. Oh, perfect. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. This is not our first run with technical difficulties. As you guys know, we had some issues. What's going on, Michael? How you doing tonight, brother? We had some.
I
I wasn't sure if it was on my end or what, so I had to pull up the YouTube channel, and then Michael Bathurst was in the chat saying, "Nope, we still got you."
Nah. Oh, okay. Nah, man, the bad thing was that was a spam phone call.
Oh, jeez.
And I wonder if I put my phone on airplane mode, but I'm still
Yeah, you dropped down.
hold
We're able
on.
to put it on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It is on Do Not Disturb, but let me see.
Oh, snap. I just realized. Oh, nice, man. Nice, Michael. We're actually getting comments coming through from X. Okay, cool. That's the first time we've gotten comments through from X. Nice. Doing good, man. How you doing? Don't worry, we're going to work through technical difficulties. We have them from time to time. We have them on our end. Sometimes our guests have them. It's no big deal. We work through them, and we just keep rocking and rolling and all that jazz. Really cool. First time I'm seeing comments coming through on X. I'll drop that one down. We'll get him back up here. Oh, you got to unmute your mic. You muted yourself.
All right, there we go. All right, now I'm good. I'm on airplane modes. Nobody could bother me. But I'm connected to the Wi-Fi. All right, cool.
No worries. There you go. You're crystal clear on Mike's end. I was just checking. Don't worry. We've had on our own shows, we've dealt with internet issues. You name it, we've dealt with it. I've had guests who have had issues. I had a young man on here, Hunter Lott, and his camera kept crashing on him, and he finally was like, The hell with it. I'm getting on my phone.
There you go. And I got it now. I knew when I started this, I was like, man, I wasn't sure if I could put it on airplane mode and be connected to the Wi-Fi or not. I'm not, you know what I mean? But apparently I can, so now I know that. But where I was at was we were kicking it, you know what I'm saying, getting drunk and everything, and then I was freestyling to this Do or Die song, and for whatever reason, and then I got done, and I looked up and looked around, and like everybody was standing around staring at me. They were like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, what was that? And I was just like, I don't know, bro. And this everybody's, you know, from then on, people just continued asking me, you know what I'm saying? Oh, freestyle, do this and that. And so that's where it started as a rapper. And I did that for like 4 or 5 years before it's a lot of things that went on, but for like 4 or 5 years, I did that just messing around. I didn't know that you could record music. You know what I mean? I thought you had to be like rich or, you know what I mean? Some signed artist or something, you know what I'm saying? And then I actually ended up getting in trouble with the law, and I ran from the law, and I ended up in Florida, and I met a friend.
Like most do.
Right. And I met a friend and we were hanging out, and I started freestyling around him, and it turned into the same thing. Every time we'd hang out, we'd be smoking, and he'd be like, oh man, freestyle. And then he was like, man, I know some people that got a studio. And so I went to this studio, and I was like, it was over from there. I was like, oh man, you can make music at the house? Like you could buy the equipment and do it here? I was like, let's go. It was over with. My very first song had no hook on it. I rapped for like 36 bars straight because I didn't know the structure of a song. You feel me? So, but
Nice.
yeah. So
No, it's amazing. You know, you talk about, you know, man, I didn't know that you could do this from home. It's amazing the technology that, you know, because 40, 50 years ago, you couldn't just,
that's
you
right.
you could get your old Casio boombox and hit, and if it had the mic, the mic on it, you could hit play, you know, hit record, and but it didn't sound good. The quality was bad.
Nah,
You wasn't making a quality thing, but you know, today, as we see with social media and stuff like that, literally anybody and everybody can be a musician or be a podcast host. Look at me, you know, it's amazing how far technology has come and how easy it makes our lives. But um, it's just blacked out. Just I gotta ask, do you remember what Do or Die song it was?
I don't remember what Do or Die song it was, to be honest. I have no idea, man. It had to been one of those songs like I feel like they played it on the radio, whatever it was, but it could have been that do you want to ride in the backseat of a caddy? You know what I
That
mean?
was
Something, it was probably something like that, you know. No, I wish I did remember, you know,
yeah.
but I mean, dude, I did a lot of drugs and stuff as a teenager, so I forgot a lot of things, you know.
I wish I could use that excuse. I
Yeah.
was just a quote unquote knucklehead as a teenager and got into a lot of fights and played sports and drank a lot. I've taken a lot of hits to the old noggin, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, I mostly smoked weed as a teenager, but then I got into acid, and I was doing acid like a lot. Like I just really liked it. It was like an escape from reality, you know. And I had a lot of things that I wanted to escape from because, like, my real mom, my biological mom, I don't know her. Like, she like took off and left, and even though my dad was around, he was only 17 when I was born, and so he was still a kid. You
yeah, he
know,
was
like yeah,
no.
he didn't know what the hell was going on. So my grandmother raised me, and I just, man, it was a lot of things going on. So I just kind of wanted to escape all of that. So, you
I
know,
think that's what the alcohol was for me. Not the greatest childhood, and it was just like, screw it, I can drink. I never got into drugs.
well,
I
that's good.
People are like, you ain't never smoked weed. I'm like, I can tell you, I've smoked weed twice in my life, and it was both when I was 16, and it just wasn't my thing because I would smoke and then I would go to sleep, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I like to party, man. Plus, at the time, I could get a case of Budweiser, a bottle of Jack Daniels, and a 2 liter of Pepsi for the same price that it cost me to buy.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, and then I'm going to party all night long. And hell, I might go for the entire weekend. But
Yeah. Yeah.
smoke a couple of joints and
That's it. Yeah, and that's it. That's it. Yeah.
it's lights out, man. I'm gone.
Yeah.
I like to party.
That's cool. My pops was the same way, man. He tried it a long time ago, and he never really was a smoker either. So I don't know where I got that from, but for some reason, man, I was like a big time smoker for like most of my life. I don't smoke anymore now, but that's because, man, it started giving me anxiety.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it started giving me anxiety, and I was like, man, it wasn't worth it. Like, I didn't know. Like, I'd smoke, and I was like, man, am I going to just get high and chill? Or am I going to bug out and think I'm going to have a heart attack? You know what I mean? So I was like, nah, I'm cool, man. I'm good on that.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of friends that did it, and I still have friends to this day that, like I've tried gummies twice.
Yeah.
And that's been in the last year. The first time was great, man. We were doing the show and I was drinking, and my fiance was like, here, try this. And I'm like, what is it? She's like, just shut up and try it. Oh, okay. And then about an hour or half hour later, she's like, you feel anything? I'm like, no, what was that? And she told me, and then she gave me another piece. And then, I don't know anything about it. I just know that I think after everything was said and done, I had like a gummy and a half, and it didn't hit me. We ended the show, and we were where she's from PA, and we were visiting out there for the weekend, and we went to go see one of her friends at the bar, and then it hit me, and I was just like, I felt great, man.
Yeah.
I was on cloud nine. The DJ was a friend of ours, and he was DJing at the bar, and she just propped me up against the wall beside him and said, you're in charge of him. Watch him. He wants Pepsi. That's all. I had the worst cotton mouth, and I just wanted Pepsi. So he kept getting me Pepsis and everything. And then the second time, we getting ready to start a show on a Saturday night, she came back here, popped a full gummy in my mouth, and I didn't even make it to the first break. And I like it. Every ounce of strength or energy I had in my body, I was like trying to push to the break. And I told the guys, I was like, I'm going to run the break. I don't know if I'm going to be back or not. I got so sick. And like 2 hours later, she came back, and I was dead in the shower, completely naked with the shower running. I don't know how long I'd been in there, just completely dead. I felt like I felt like I got hit by a Mack truck. And, she like got me up out of the shower. I got dried off. I got changed. I came in here. I laid down, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm not doing it again. I just felt like absolute hell. And then like 15 minutes after that, it was, I feel really good. And I was hungry as hell. So I'm like a Tasmanian devil in the kitchen, just making whatever crazy concoction I could make. But I was like, yeah, I'm good. I've smoked weed twice. I've had gummies twice. The weed didn't no bad experience. Just makes me sleepy. Gummy, great experience. Bad experience, I'm good. And I've never tried anything other than that. I think I have a fear of drugs because I have family and I have quite a few family and friends that were addicts, and I see into them, and I'm like, I don't ever want to be that person. I drink, and I'm good. Yeah.
Right. Nothing wrong with that, man, at all, because I'm the same way now. I couldn't tell you why I did the drugs I did. Like I said, I could tell you why I did the acid. I was trying to escape, and I enjoyed it. It was like an escape from reality.
Yeah, it's like an alternate universe for you.
Oh, yeah, and I would play with it. Like, I knew that I was cool, and I knew it was my mind. It was like these chemicals, so I would just have fun with it. I would see stuff and just be like, I would like purposely try to see stuff. You know what I mean? Like sitting around, and I would just have fun with it. But that's about where that ended in my teenage years. As I hit into my 20s, I still partied and I did a lot of other things, but I got away from all of that. It was more like a periodic here and there thing. I did more drinking and smoking than anything.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
you're gonna live your life, man, and people are gonna experiment around with things. And I think maybe it's better to wait to be in your 20s, maybe at least, man, brains fully developed, things like that. But also at the same time, you also don't want to wait till you're too old either and go to trying stuff, and then it might kill you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's all you want to be in the news headline. 50-year-old dude, like, I decided to try LSD for the first time in my life,
Right.
and it killed.
But yeah,
you know,
bugged out and jumped off a bridge. Like
you retire, you go your whole life, man. You have full career. You raise a family, and then you're like, I'm retired. I'm going to live life. It's kind of like these people who like 70 years old and decide they're going to skydive. Like, why? Why? You're 70. You had 70 good years, and now all of a sudden you want to jump out of a plane? Like, nah, just stop. You're doing too much.
nah, I have no desire to jump out of a plane. Like, don't get me wrong. There's a part of me that's like, I can enjoy the excitement of it. I just don't want to risk it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I have an irrational fear of heights. I'm not afraid of anything or anybody. I'm a guy who is on it. I'm in my 40s, and my body ain't what it used to be, but I'm still pretty convinced that I can fight a kangaroo or a black bear.
Yeah.
But but when it comes to heights, nah, I don't ride roller coasters. I don't fly. I don't. You're not gonna catch me at the top of the some tower looking out over the city. You're like, nah, I'm good, man. Yeah, I don't do that.
What's funny is I used to love roller coasters, man, and then all of a sudden, within like the last maybe 7 years, I'm like, I can't do it, man. I got on the simplest ride at the fair. It was like a little ride. You just sit in the chair and it goes up and around like this. And that's all it was. And I got done. I was like, man, my neck hurts, man. My belly don't feel good.
And that's the other thing. That's the other thing. Like a couple of years back, I took my kids down to Pigeon Forge, and we went to Dollywood.
Love that place.
Yeah, oh man, the first time I ever been there, and my girls had a blast. They rolled every damn roller coaster that they had. My boy was a little bit too. He's still a little bit too young, and he wasn't quite big enough for the big roller coaster. But they got the kid roller coasters. First and foremost, I'm 6'2". I'm right around the 300-pound range.
Yeah.
I usually sit around 260, 300 in that area. I ain't built for a kid roller coaster, first and foremost.
Yeah.
But I got on it with him, and just a kid roller coaster. When I got off, man, it threw my back out. Like I said, I when injuries for days. I tore up my shoulder. I jacked up my back. Both my knees are fucked up. My ankle's fucked up. It's like, when you get older, even that jostling around, man, it's like it's not worth it at the end of the day. Like,
dude, I got sick one time a few years back and threw up. And I pulled a muscle in my back. You know what I'm saying?
I was telling my fiance the other day. I think I told the guys about this a while back on one of the other shows. But I was telling my fiance the other day. We were talking about something getting old, and her back was hurting, and she's like, "All I did was bend over and put my shoe on." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." I said, I was walking down the hallway one day and farted and lifted my leg, and I felt my body. and I was like, and I was done for a week and a half. I walked like a Notre Dame for like a week, and it was a fart. Just because
I know. I feel that way now, man. I'm like, man, I got to be careful if I got to sneeze, I'm like, man, just prepare, brace yourself.
Getting old sucks, man. But yeah, I mean, that's the other reason I don't do roller coasters outside of the fear of heights. I'm too broken and beaten up. Like I said, I played a lot of full contact sports growing up, and I liked to fight too when I was younger. Through my and stuff like that. So it's like, shit. I wish I could go back and tell like 20-year-old me, like, hey, maybe not getting so many fights, because in about 20 years that's going to catch up, and it's going to. If it gets cold, your hands are going to hurt. If it's too cold, your hands are going to be crippled up. Like a lot of times in the wintertime, and when I get up in the morning, my hands are like, like I look like I'm Fist of Fury, Tiger Claw, or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I got to wait for my hands and my body to warm up so I can move them, and it hurts. But what are you gonna do? You live and learn, man. Like I tell everybody, like I tell people, when my time comes and goes, I don't want you guys to boo-hoo, cry, or have a funeral. I want you guys to have a party and
Yeah.
celebrate the life I lived and celebrate just like I would. Be reckless,
Yeah.
crazy, have a good time. Just don't cry because that
Yeah.
should.
Yeah. I feel the same way. Like I'd rather have everybody kick it, you know.
Mhm.
Like, of course, people are gonna be sad because you're gone. You know what I mean? It's like now they can't talk to you because your personality and the energy in the world has changed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because you're not there, and I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, there ain't nothing you can do about it. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well kick it and celebrate the time that we did have and the time I was here
When
for
when it
sure.
when it's my time to check out, I don't have no say in that. When it's time to check out, it's time to check out at the end of the day. But just and some of my closest friends are, we've talked about how, I don't know why you talk about this weird shit, man. I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes what happens when you get drinking and you get all serious and sentimental and shit.
Yeah.
Just go when I'm dead and gone. Hopefully, a little bit of my energy, hopefully, a little bit of my presence, you're able to absorb, so you can kind of get what I'm saying, man. Just live life like I would live, and just party like I would party when I'm gone. Don't be sad, man. I had a hell of a run. Some bad, a lot of bad, but a lot of good too. At the end of the day. So,
Yeah.
um, you've been doing this music thing for forever,
Right.
but we were talking a little bit, and you said that you just recently started to get a little bit more serious about it, a
Yeah.
little, really kind of going after it.
Yeah.
What was you can trust me. I'm not going to force anybody to say anything they don't want to say. But what was that? What was that light switch moment for you? You know what I mean? That moment that turned the lights on for you. And if I can steal a quote from our good friend Kevin Spiritus, what am I waiting for? Why am I waiting? Where
Yeah.
you the hell with it and went after it.
You know, as I've gotten older, man, I think part of it might have been my own self-sabotage. You know what I mean? Maybe fear. You know what I mean? That you maybe you don't realize it's fear. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what the fear might be, but it could be fear of success, fear of what other people think. You know, things like that. But there was two triggers. One of them was my wife asked me, she said, "Why don't you make music anymore?" Like she didn't know. She knew I was making music. I was writing songs for somebody else.
Okay.
And yeah, I was writing songs for somebody else and I was making beats to sell online. And I was doing that. And when we first met, I told her, I was like, listen, because I had got divorced before and it was really about music. I like really delved into the music and I was gonna make beats, sell them online, all this. And my ex-wife was like, she got mad because I was just so into it. But anyway,
I know how
um,
it goes.
um, she asked me why I wasn't. She finally heard some of my music, some of my old music. She was like, "Oh my god, like this is crazy." She was like, "I didn't know," and she was like, "Why don't you do music anymore like that?" And I was like, "Well, because I'm 40." And she was like, "Well, that's not a good reason." She was like, "You should definitely be doing this." She was like, "You're really talented. You should be doing this." And I was like, "All right, well, I'm gonna do it then." And so, like 2 years ago, a little over, about 2.5 years ago, I'd say, I guess, I started making music, more my own songs anyway. So I started doing that, put the songs out, like a song called "Man in the Mirror" and "Turn the Page" and "Kurt Cobain." Those are like my first few songs that I started,
I
back
like it.
in on, and I appreciate it. And I made those beats, you know what I mean, to the songs as well, and I mixed them and everything. Well, not Kurt Cobain. That's when I finally started working with an engineer. But I was doing all of that, and then my dad passed away.
Hmm.
And when my dad passed away, that's when, like, just I don't know, a lot of stuff started hitting me about living life. And he was like an amazing country singer. I'm talking about like really amazing country singer, and he wrote some really cool songs, but he was like an amazing singer and entertainer. He'd get on stage, he could play guitar so good. He'd go in the studio to record stuff, and he'd be orchestrating everything. Tell him, oh man, add some violin right here, do this. Like he just knew, you know what I mean? He knew all this stuff, and he was a self-taught guitar player. And that just was amazing to me. And I never did any of those things. He always tried to show me, but I was like, man, I'm running the streets doing this and that. I'm trying to be honest with you. I was trying to get girls. I was trying to, you know what I'm saying? I was like, this is what's important.
I mean,
So
when we're young, man, we're just trying to get some tail at the end of the day.
That's right. And so I just, I always felt like he deserved it, So after he passed, I had always sang country music like in the background, like to myself. And I never thought I was really good enough because my dad was so good. And so I compared myself to him. But he sang, his whole life. I really didn't I did it my whole life, but not like him, like all the time. You know what I mean? I was just singing songs on the radio, here and there.
You're putting on your own concert when you're like driving down the road.
Right. Yeah. And
stuff like that.
And I was trying to sing like other people. I wasn't even trying to be me. I was just singing other people's songs, trying to sound like them. And so it was my wife, and then it was my dad when he passed. And it didn't just happen right then. It was really traumatic for me because it happened out of nowhere. He was only 57. Wow. And so it threw me all off. I was like all tore up, man, because it was such a surprise. And I feel, I thought about I could have done all this music with him. I could have been sitting around making music with him, and we could have been doing things like writing songs and doing all these things. And I didn't, I was like always thinking about myself and spending my own time. And I didn't really think about it. And about, I want to say, let's see, it was January. So about like 6 months, 7 months in, I want to say it was 6, 7 months. It might have been actually a year. It might have been a year or so after he passed. I sat down and I wrote this one song, which is actually the title of my album that's coming out next Friday. It's called Country as I Wanna Be. And the song is called Country as I Wanna Be. And that's where this album started from. But that's what kicked me into all of this. This is what really kicked me into the country hip hop stuff is I did this song and I was like, it was just really real. And I was like, this is who I am. This is where I come from. My grandfather was a country music singer too, and an entertainer, and traveled around as well, and a steel guitar player. And I was like, this is me right here. And so then I kind of did that, and then I went into another song. I can't think of which one it was now, but I did that, and I went into like one other little song, and that's when I made the decision. I was like, I'm going to do a country hip hop album, and I'm really going to go for it. Like, yeah, I was making music because my wife said something to me, but then I decided like, I'm going to really go out here and try to make this happen. Like, man, it doesn't matter how old I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got this in me. I know God put this dream in my heart. I've had it for a long time. And why would he give me this dream if he didn't want to see it to fruition? And I feel like I let fear, you know what I'm saying, take over and not let me go after, my dreams because I was afraid of what other people would think.
Exactly. I think that's one of those things that really hold a lot of us back. We can make the excuses and say, I'm too old. My family says I shouldn't do it. My wife says I shouldn't do it. I'm a dad. I gotta be responsible. I gotta do the right thing by my kids, and I gotta go have a job and go work that 40 plus hours a week and pay the bills and provide blah, 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 but at the end of the day, when we are in our 80s and everything, we go, well, what if?
Yeah.
And I don't think, being 40, that ain't nothing. Shit. 40 is the new 20 anymore. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah. And that's how I feel in my heart. I feel like I'm like 25 years old. And that's what it was too, is like I look at it and it's like, it's not about me so much. Like it's about me and my dream. But for me, it's like I feel like my dad deserved it. and he really put the work in, like he played, he did shows, he did all these things, but times were different then. You didn't have online and the connections, what I'm saying, like how you could do things now. And I'm like, my dad deserved this. I was like, but those were the building blocks. So I want to go do this to make it happen because it was meant to be for one of us, for somebody. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I'm going to go for it and I'm going to really try to make this happen, and so.
And like you said, your grandfather did the same thing. So you're third generation, man. You're in a long run. So I got kind of a two-part question. First one being, do you still have, or is there access to any of your pop's old recordings and stuff like that?
I have most of his stuff I have myself personally. There are a couple of his songs online on YouTube. One of them's more of like a Christian song, but it's a really great song. It's called One of These Days. And it's a really great song. But more of his, my favorite stuff of his is I have it on CDs. It's on CDs, and obviously I have it on the computer and on flash drives. I got backups. It's in the cloud. Everything else, you know what I mean?
That's what I was going to ask you. I don't know if you've already done it or not, but we speak on the technology that we have today. Have you ever thought of doing something like a duet with your old man?
I am doing that. I am doing that. He has. I'm actually going to record. I'm working on recording one of his songs that he never released, and I'm going to do it.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean? So I'm going to sing one of his songs, and I'm going to do it. And then also he has a song. I have a recording of a song he did. It's more of like a blues song, It's like a blues rock thing, and I'm just going to do a little rapping on it, but it fits real good. And so I haven't actually decided how I'm going to do it yet because the recording is a good enough recording where I feel like I could use it and do something with it. But if not, I might have the people I know that play, redo the track and I might sing his parts as well. And then, do something with it.
Hell, with today's technology, you can clean it up and make it sound good.
Right. With AI, I could probably just sample his voice and go, all right, do this for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It'd be really cool. I mean, well, hell, Nat Cole's daughter did it with him, back in the day. I mean, they did that duet together. I think that would be a really cool thing. The second part of that, it sounds like, I know you said earlier that your pops was just a baby when you were born, anyways.
Yeah.
It sounds like you guys had a pretty tight relationship. Were you guys pretty close?
We were really close, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of strange because, like I said, he was so young. He had started working when he was 14 years old, and he worked his whole life, man. I'm talking about overtime, everything. Like, he always worked. And then on the weekends, he would go out and play Friday night, Saturday night, and then he'd be rehearsing with the band all the time. And so as a child, my grandmother raised me for the most part, but I would spend a lot of time with my dad as well. And I would go kind of go back and forth. I would go live with him for a little while. And it was a little bit sporadic. So as a child, I was like, man, I'm going to go back over here and live with my grandmother. Things are a little more stable, but I literally would sit with him and I seen him write songs, like just sit there playing the guitar and come up with these songs. And these songs, especially at the time he was doing them, they were great songs.
Oh, yeah.
But he didn't know, and of course I didn't know the way to get these songs to people or to get himself out there, like all he knew was go to these bars and play music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean, that's kind of how it was then. And who knows, man, he may have had fears of his own. Cause but then again, Nashville downtown wasn't what it is now. Like now it's like big and popping. Back then it was like, there was a couple of things downtown. Mm-hmm. But it was nothing like it is now. Yeah. And so it was just different. So I'm not really sure, but yeah, we had a good relationship, but it was off and on. And then that's actually how I ended up in Florida, because he moved to Florida and because he married this woman and he moved down there. And so when I got in trouble and I was running from the law, that was an escape. He was down there, and I called him up like, "Hey, man, I didn't tell him what was going on. I just said, "Hey, man, I'm trying to get out of here. I need a job." You know what I mean? I didn't tell him I was running from the law. To be honest with you, I don't know if I ever told him.
Well, sorry, Pops. Now you know.
Sorry, Pops. You know what I mean? For real.
Hey, it's okay to keep secrets from our parents. I'm sure, I know there's things that I've done in my past, and fortunately, for me, I was always able to just kind of handle business. But I'm sure there's things that my mom passed away 15 years ago, so I'm sure she knows now. But I'm sure there's things that my pops is like, if he finds out, he'd be like, "Really? Okay, that makes a lot of sense now." But sometimes we keep things from our parents, so we don't want them to know every little detail about our lives.
Yeah, and speaking on that, what you asked me about if us too is like as a young child like that, he used to play at these bars. One particular was called Eddie's that I always remember. They had like illegal gambling in there because you can't gamble here. They had like poker machines in there and blackjack machines, and they was in there gambling. And he would take me sometimes, and they would let me be in there. I wasn't supposed to be in there, but I was in this bar, people in there smoking and drinking, and I would see my dad play music, you know what I mean, with the band on the stage. And so that was always, I don't know why I never really wanted to play, but the music was always in me, man. You know what I'm saying? I was always inspired by it, but for some reason I just never, I mean, I mess around on the guitar now, but I don't, I'm by far I'm not hopping on a stage and playing no show or nothing with a guitar.
Have you had the opportunity? You kind of brought that up right out the bat. Have you had the opportunity to do shows? Have you done anything live gig wise or anything like that?
I am actually getting ready to now. I have on June 29th. It's not just me. I did some music with who you said, the guy Alex. His name is Alex Whitmore, and he has a band called Whitmore, and they're really cool. They're more of like a rock band, and I guess it's rock, but I'm not really sure what you'd call it. You know what I mean? Like, but it's cool. They play like some Hendrix and things like that too.
Nice.
Yeah. And they go out and do some shows, and I'm actually going to go out because since we did that song, we have another song. We're working on more music together as well. And I'm going to do a show with him on the 29th at the 5 Spot here in Nashville. And so I feel like I've always done hip hop stuff. I've done a lot of hip hop shows. Like back in Florida, I opened up for like Lil Jon, Yin Yang Twins, Juvenile. Yeah, like stuff like that. It was really cool. But that was back when I thought I had an ego. I was rapping, man. I thought I was so cool. I was like, oh, somebody's going to find me and sign me. You know what I mean? I'm going to be famous, And obviously that didn't work out, But so I'm actually just now looking for those opportunities. And I've kind of had this fear of like hip hop. I don't mind. I'll get up on stage and rap all day in front of people. But I've never sang in front of people in the crowd, with a crowd and everything. So I'm ready to rip that Band-Aid off, you know what I mean, and go do that. And so I'm actually, I got some opportunities coming up, and I'm looking into some more opportunities now. So I haven't actually got up and sang in front of anybody yet, but it's coming soon for sure.
Oh yeah, that's fucking bad. I mean, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, man. Because granted, you might have had that ego when you were a little bit younger, and you're and those are not small names by no means.
Right.
I love music. I listen to everything. I'm an old school hip hop head, man. I love the hip hop in the '90s and early even the stuff that came out like in the '80s and whatnot. Those are not small names by no means. So
right.
You get that little bit of that ego. But also at the same time, I'm a firm believer. Everything happens for a reason, and when the time is right,
that's right. That's right.
That door is going to open when you least expect it to open. And like I was telling you earlier, man, you just got to get in the right ears. You get in that one person's ears, and that's all it takes. At the end of the
I definitely wasn't ready then. You know, I thought I was, and plus the things that I was promoting then, I was talking about I'll shoot you and gangbang and selling dope, you know, and all these different things. And that's just, I don't like, you know, that's something I feel really strongly about, because a lot of the music that I still love the music.
Yeah.
But it influenced me kind of in a bad way. But it was my own fault. I made my own decisions. I hung out with people, you know what I mean? And that was really my fault. But for me, some of these people I see nowadays, I'm not trying to judge them, but I see them promoting those things. And I'm like, if you know better, though, why mislead those people? Like, I know better. I know you end up dead in prison. You know what I'm saying? I know where this stuff leads you. So why would I want to tell people and act like this is really cool and promote these things? And so I had to grow out of that, you know? And not only that, like I said, I came out of my teenage years just drugs, and then in my 20s, I was still messing around with some stuff, you know, here and there. Like, dude, if I'd have blowed up, I'd be dead right now, most likely.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing. You know, I know in my 20s, I was buck wild. I was
Right.
I was a damn fool. I was an animal in my 20s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like now, you know, 20 years later, I'm in my 40s. I'm a little bit mellow. I'm a little bit calmed down. You know, that old guy still exists, or that old me still exists, but I have a better job of keeping them at bay. You know, I do a better job at keeping them at bay. And I totally agree with that, man. That's the one thing that I've never, you know, like you said, I love the music. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I love the music. You know, but you're given as artists and musicians, you're given an opportunity to influence.
Yes.
You know, even as podcasters, we're given the opportunity to influence. Why focus on the negative? Let's have fun. Let's have a good time. You know, for you, you know, for musicians and artists, and as I've gotten older, the one thing I really enjoy are musicians and bands that are just like, let's have a good time, man. Let's make good music. You know, it doesn't have to be. Shut up, Jaravishi. The guys call me a squatch on the network. I'm a squatch. But you know, like let's have fun, man. Like, you know, go back into the day where, you know, a lot of bands back in the day, they were that feel good music. We're gonna party. We're gonna have a good time. You know, we're gonna drink a little bit. You know, maybe meet us a man or a woman. You know, depending upon the artist, whatever, or songs that you can relate to. Something that really, when you hear it, it's like, all right, I've been there before. I know what he's saying, or I know what she's saying. I've been there before. You know, I felt like that before, or wow, this person's really speaking to my soul. You know, at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I get it, man. People want to tell stories, and I'm okay with that too. Like, I have a song called Move where I talk about some stuff, you know. But at the same time, I'm just telling people like where I come from, and I get that, and I'm fine with that. But then there comes to a point where now you're promoting, like you said, you have a chance to influence people. So why would you want to influence people when you know better? Is what I'm saying. Like, if you don't know no better, then whatever, you know, then it is what it is. But when you know better, like you're looking around and literally like you're the only guy who made it out of your neighborhood. You know, but everybody else that you know that sold dope or ran with a gang or did these things, you know the negative things that happen to them, but yet you're still going to make music, promote it like it's cool because people will listen to it. It's like, I'm like, man, that's not good.
Like you said, you're either dead or locked up.
That's right.
And both of those situations, you wind up on a Hanes white T-shirt airbrushed.
That's right.
You know, and it's like, and then some of these cats, I gotta say, some of these cats in the rap game today, they wouldn't last 5 seconds in the hood.
No,
I mean, they really wouldn't. You're talking about something, or they're rapping about something that they know nothing about, man. Like,
that's right.
They wouldn't last 5 seconds in that world.
That's why I feel so strong about it too, man. Because I see these characters,
Yeah.
You know, they're playing characters, and I'm like, look, I was by no means some big thug, you know, at all, but I thought I was, and I
Yeah.
ran around with some that were some real deal people because that's the neighborhood I grew up in, and so that's why it really strikes a chord with me too, because I'm like, I know what it's really like. I've
Mhm.
seen it front line. I've seen it firsthand, and so it's like, nah, man, it's not cool, man. It's not what's up.
And I think that was one thing that's resonated with me most of my life, even as a as a little squatch, Jarvis, as a young squatch. When I lived in the hood, or hood ghetto, whatever you want to call it, when I lived in Cbus, I was 11, 12 years old, and even back then, it was like I don't want to end up I don't want to be like these guys. Yeah, they got the nice cars and the flashy clothes and the really pretty girls and all, but their life expectancy is, I mean, you might not live to see 21.
That's right. It don't last. And I remember when I was young in my teenage years doing that stuff, I didn't care because in my mind, I didn't think I was going to live to be 18 years old. I thought literally in my head, I thought I would die before I turned 18. And so I didn't
That
care.
that was kind of my mindset. Unfortunate events unfolded, and I had to go. You know, I am what I am. I'm a country bumpkin, redneck hillbilly, country boy, whatever you want to call me. I'm from Podunk, Ohio. I had unfortunately did live in Columbus, and I'm not a city guy. I don't like the city. I don't like big cities. I never have, never will. Uh, there was an unfortunate series of events that unfolded, and I had to go live with my pops. And they lived out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, we were so far out in the country that they literally had to filter in the sunlight. you know, and I loved it because that's who I am. But it was also when I moved out there, I was 12 or 13 when I moved in with my pops. But when I moved out there, it was like, all right. So when I lived with mom, I was fucked with because I was 6'2", 12-year-old white kid in the hood. So I got fucked with because I'm a white kid in the hood. And then I moved to the country, and it's like the first year or so I'm there, everybody wants to fuck with me because I'm from the city. Uh, you know, I'm,
Yeah.
I'm a wannabe. And I'm like, I'm wearing cowboy boots and Wranglers. Like I wore this same shit when I lived in Columbia. Like I don't understand the correlation. So it was like, let everybody know who I am. But I also fucked with a lot of people because of the type of music I listen to. I literally listen to everything. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. I'm like that too.
and my favorite era is the 50s and 60s, the 50s and 60s. Uh, but I listen to country, I listen to rock, I listen to rap, I listen to R&B. I love blues. Blues music is probably my favorite music. And if I ever get rich off of this podcast thing, the first thing I do is I will have my own blues bar. That's
Heck
been
yeah. That's what's up.
it's been something I've wanted since I was young, and it's always there. I know every detail about how I want the building to look, how I want the stage to look, everything. Like I know everything. But it's like don't judge a person based off of where they're from. You got to get to know a
Yeah.
person. Give
Yeah.
them, as they say, don't judge a book by its cover. Because yeah, I mean, I'm as simple as it comes, man.
You
Give
know,
me a
we're in a weird time right now where you got some people that are very judgmental and like standoffish, but we also live in a time where people are kind of getting away from that
mhm,
judging people too, and like more people are coming together and kind of seeing like, man, we're just from different places, man.
just different places. I mean,
Yeah,
that's been me my whole life. I don't care. I don't care. I love everybody. I don't care who y'all are, where you're from, your sexual preference. A good person is a good person. A
that's
shitty
right.
person, is a shitty person.
That's
It,
right.
I'm all about that interaction and getting to know people and whatnot. And I think, excuse me, when we have that, when people have that judgmental mentality, they miss out on a lot of good things.
Yes.
And I mean, like, yeah, one of my best friends. I love the cat. By the way, if you're listening, congratulations on the wedding. But fuck you for not the invite because I would have come to New York to be there for you. He's about 15 years younger than me. little black kid, from Charleston, South Carolina. I'm from Ohio. I'm a Sasquatch country bumpkin. The first day him and I seen each other, we both kind of had that same thought, like, "Oh, the fuck is this?" And then we worked together, and then we became thick as thieves. Like, I mean, that's my boy. He knows that if he needs anything, call me up. I got you, bro. And a lot of times people see him and I together, or would see him and I interact on social media and be like, "Why are you talking to him?" Or "Why are you talking?" Like, no, mind your business. Like, because we fucking pulled away that all the bullshit, and I found a brother for life at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
And we need more of that stuff, man. Unifying, because that divide and conquer, that stuff that keeps us fighting amongst each other, the powers that be, that's what they want. You know what I mean? Like, they want us to fight amongst each other over things that don't matter. You know what I mean? Like we were saying, like the color of your skin, where you come from, sexual orientation, all these different things, religion. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, come on, like, look, I'm all for like peace and love, and I believe in God, but it's like, at the same time, you look at religion and it's like they're fighting amongst each other. They got all these separate different things and they're all fighting over the meaning of this word. And I'm like, why don't we just keep it simple, man? Just look at the commandments. You know what I mean? All it says is, I think we can all agree that we shouldn't do these things to each other. You know what I mean? I was like, let's just keep it simple. Like, we've overcomplicated things and now we're all fighting amongst each other, and the powers that be are just kick back, smoking cigars, you know what I mean? Just watching it burn. And it's like,
as I always say, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, man, that's real.
So I do want to, not that I want to interrupt the conversation, but I want to get some of your music out here. I want to make sure I get your music played. And I'm new. I'm a new fan, so I'm still learning.
I appreciate it.
Your new album, "Country As I Want to Be." Is this your first like official, like
my first official album? It's the first time I've ever done this. Nice. And that's next Friday. The whole album will come out. And then I just had a song come out today that's actually my very first country song. And the other song you was talking about earlier, I don't know if it was on the show or not, or before when we was backstage, but it was that's like a country pop song. That's actually on the album. Nice. And I'm kind of using it to promote. But my song that come out today is more of like a traditional country song.
Okay, well, I didn't get that one, but I do have, and I want to play it. But and then when we come back, I want to ask you where this came from.
Okay,
things that I always am curious about when it comes to songwriters. But we're gonna take a real quick little break here. I'm gonna play one of his songs. I'm gonna play one of Derek's songs off of his brand new album, first debut album, official album.
That's right.
Here's "I Want to Be" with "Could Have Been a Cowboy." I love this song.
I appreciate it. That's what's up.
I love this song. We'll be back here in just a few minutes. We're going to be hanging out more with Derek. Enjoy "Could Have Been a Cowboy."
I could have been a cowboy. I would have been a rolling stone. 'Cause I was running with the outlaw long before I was grown. Crossing county lines with a banner on my mind. No time to find a home. Or run away like a runaway train. The train keeps moving on. Yeah, from Desperado to Head Honcho. Riding the Bronco through the prairie, my boy Pablo. Looking for El Chapo, headed to El Dorado. Since a snot nose, bro, running with them Vacaros. Smoking Marlboros, living like no tomorrows. No heroes to follow, zero dreams, they hollow. Can't be slow, no time to borrow. We woke feeling sorrow. We can't be broken, hope to feed our folk. I could have been a cowboy. I would have been a rolling stone. 'Cause I was running with the outlaws long before I was grown. Crossing county lines with a bounty on my mind. No time to find a home. Or run away like a runaway train. The train keeps moving on. Look, your destiny is not destined to be unless you desperately seek for the best you can be. And yes, you can see, you see, instead of questioning me, I'm blessed as can be. Look, I'm just on my quest to succeed. Check and see, this ain't checkers, boy, this chess with the kings. My recipe sings, no matter what weapons you bring. So step in my scene, go ahead and flex to your screen. Yeah, I'm just feeling blessed to be seen. Now I could have been a cowboy, I would have been a rolling stone. Cause I was running with the outlaws long before I was grown. Crossing county lines with a bounty on my mind. No time to find a home. Or run away like a runaway train. The train keeps moving on.
That Wayne Douglas off his debut album, "Country As I Want to Be," right there with "Could Have Been a Cowboy." I love that shit. I love that damn song, man. That is so. I love the beat. It's so catchy. Yeah. But running with the Outlaws, I'm feeling it, man. I'm digging it. And I love your. I'm assuming it's the album cover. Your picture there.
Yeah.
You know, we a little bit older, as we said. You know, we're old. We're the old dogs in the game now. You know.
Yeah.
And you know, I grew up looking. You know, I remember. And I say I remember, but I've got a fucking giant console record player out there that some bitch is about 7 feet, 8 feet long, and weighs about 9 million pounds. And I've got all these old records in it. But I remember, man, like growing up and like going through my grandparents' records, or you know, going and buying tapes, and you'd open it up and you had, or CDs, and it came with old school rap, that little Kim album, that cover, that artwork.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's up, little Kim? How you doing? I don't know what's going on in your world. I don't know why you're Japanese all of a sudden, but can we get late '90s, early 2000s, little Kim back? But no, man, I like the I like the picture on the front, man. I like that little. You get the best of both worlds, man. I like that.
I appreciate that, man. When I first came up with it, that idea, I had this concept in my mind. I was like, man, I'm a little hood, I'm a little country, and it was beyond my artwork capabilities. A lot of times I do my own artwork stuff, but I couldn't quite get it together, man. So I ended up reaching out on Fiverr to this guy. He was like in Europe or something. I was like, look, here's my idea, man. I just need you to put these pictures together, you feel me, and make this happen. And he did it for me, man, and it came out really cool, man. So
it's really cool, and it's funny that you say that, because I tell people that all the time. I'm a little country, or I'm a little redneck, hillbilly, whatever you want, and I'm a little hood. You know what I mean? And that's why I can live in both worlds. I can get along in both worlds. And I've never heard anybody else say that before. So that's really cool, man. To know that I'm not alone anymore.
Yeah. I'm going to make some shirts like that. I plan on making some shirts, you know what I mean, to say something like that. I'm sure somebody else probably has it, but I don't care. I'm going to do it too.
You got to do it and make it your own thing. I mean, trust me, I'm in that developmental stage of merchandise and trying to figure out.
Right. Yeah.
You know, when we first started creating the merchandise, it was for the one show. And then it was like, and my fiance, God bless her, you know, I started dabbling around with it a while back. And then when we brought it up again, she took it upon herself to start making stuff. And she's made some phenomenal designs, but for the one show, you know, the show that it was.
Yeah.
and I told her, I was like, I know you don't want to get into the world of all the other shows and all of our logos and everything like that, my logo and for these shows and everything like I've created. And I was like, if you don't want to do anything with the other shows or the network, that's cool. Keep doing the main show. But that's what you run into. It's like, yeah, well, I mean, I understand that so and so has done a design like this. However, this is for my brand. So
Right.
I'm borrowing a little bit from them, but I'm also, making it for myself as well at the end of the day. And there ain't nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. It's all about having that creative mindset at the end of the
I
day.
mean, there's a book that says, I can't remember what it's called now, man, but it's like Still Like an Artist or something like that. Because everything that we think of nowadays is really, it's already been done somewhere anyway. And we're an accumulation of everything that's already happened in the past anyway. So it's gonna be original and unique because it's us. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like you kind of got to just do your own thing. And if people don't like it, then oh well. It's just like on my album, I have a song that's called "My Dixieland Delight," and of course Alabama. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dixieland Delight song. Well, that's where it came from. But I was raised on that music, so that was my influence. And the song doesn't sound anything like that song, but I still say my Dixieland Delight in the song, you know what I mean? But I was like, you know what? I just don't care, man. I'm just going to do me. And this is what I feel like. Well, it feels good to me. So I'm going to do it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, that's like, um, in the podcast game, I'm sure there's 1,000 other guys doing a music show and 1,000 other guys interviewing musicians. However, how many out of that 1,000? I'm sure the number is much larger. I don't have the
Right.
before anybody comes at me. I don't have the exact stats or anything like that. I'm just throwing it up there. How many of those 1,000 guys are actually dedicating their show to people like you? The up and comers, the local guys, the guys who are not signed to a big label or are not going on tour. I mean, obviously, there's artists out there that I would love to get that are huge. I mean, I've reached out to, and I don't think I'll ever hear back from them. But my ultimate goal is to spotlight up and comers, the local guys,
Right.
the guys or gals, guys and gals, women. Sorry, now I'm all of a sudden 1920s. Gal, look at here, see?
Yeah.
But I want to spotlight you guys. But it's the same thing with we do a men's mental health show. Well, the difference
Which
between
I think that's dope. I haven't checked it out, but I remember before the show you were saying something about that, and I was like, I didn't say it then because we were just talking. But I think that's really cool.
Well, and we encourage, and I'll say this to you, man, we encourage all men. Obviously, we're going to come on with our topics, but we encourage all men to, if you want to come on and hang out with us, we do it on Monday nights. It's at 7. If you want to come on and hang out with us and share your story or anything, we encourage all men to do it. Because none of us are experts. None of us went to college. None of us know what we're talking about. All we're talking about is real life experiences.
And dude, and to be honest, even the people who went to college and all of that, successful or whatever, they don't know either. They just out here winging it. They look like they got it all together, but everybody's just out here winging it, man. I promise.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, we're talking real life experiences. So how many of those fancy schmancy college educated psychiatrists and therapists have actually gone through and lived?
Right.
We live that I've tried therapy, but my problem is you get a couple sessions in and they want to start pushing drugs on you, and I'm not taking
Nah, I'm with you.
But I'm not taking drugs. Or B, they just don't understand because they didn't live it. We're talking real talk. We're talking real life situations, real things we've been through. And not necessarily telling people how to fix it. We're just talking about how we survive.
That's what I was going to say. At least it's an outlet, though, that you can kind of talk it through and see that you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that's cool.
And we have myself, Jarvis, He's been in the chat tonight, and Connor. Again, one of those unlikely friendships. A friend of mine, Connor, we met by pure coincidence. We worked together at Abercrombie and Finch. We were security guards at the home office here in Ohio. And he's much younger than I am, and we developed a friendship. He's one of my closest friends. I love the guy to death, but Connor's military, former military. He's an Air Force and an Army vet. Jarvis has his own story. I have my story, which, as the host, I get to just give you guys just the tip of the iceberg. You haven't really dived too much into my past. But it's just real stories, real conversations, and what we're doing to survive, man, and how we're coping. So, yeah, I mean, and the same thing happens with musicians. Yeah, there's 1,000 other white country rappers out there, but there's something about you that sets you apart from everybody else. You're not.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this name very hesitantly. Because not that I think he'll catch wind of it, but if he does, I'm going to hate to have to punch him in his stupid head as much as I like him. But Ryan Upchurch.
Yeah.
Like, stop trying to be so fucking hard all the time, dude. Like,
yeah.
Because when you're not trying to be a hard ass, you actually make really good music. Adam Calhoun's the same way. Stop trying to be hard all. First of all, Adam Calhoun, you're like 4'3". Stop it.
Yeah.
You
Nah,
might
I'm
want
with you.
because you do all that boxing and MMA stuff, but
Yeah.
you're not trying to be a hard ass. You're just making music. They're actually amazing musicians.
Right.
But stop stop trying to be a hard ass all the time. You're a grown ass man. Stop it.
Right. Yeah.
It kind of sets you aside from them because you're not like, I'll kick your ass in the streets and I'll fuck your bitch and then da 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 da.
Right. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And the thing is I have feelings like that sometimes. Like, I get where they're coming from with some of their music too. Like, and it's like and that's what I'm saying. So I get what you're saying too, though. It's like that's not all the time though. Like, come on, man. There's different things to life, So
Yeah.
I appreciate you saying that though, because sometimes, man, I think about myself and I see guys like that with more success than me, right now, and I compare myself, even though I shouldn't, but I compare myself and I think, like, should I just be doing music like that all the time?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I'm just gonna keep being me, man. It's cool.
It comes across. It reaches a point where it comes across fake. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like, for instance, I could very easily do a political show. Now, me, I'm kind of, me personally, I sit in the middle. I lean more right, a lot more right than I do left, but I sit in the middle. I like both sides of the story. I like to. There are certain things on the not a lot, but there are some things on the left that I agree with, and there's things on the right that I agree with.
Right.
But I do have co-hosts that are, or I've had former co-hosts that are very left leaning, and very right leaning. But I could very easily do a political show where we just fucking spout out the most ridiculous shit out there in the world that we could think of, that because we found it on Facebook or TikTok or whatever, and then we're going to get 1 million fucking followers and millions of fans and people. But for me, like you said, this is who I am. If you guys catch me in real life outside of the podcast world, even the 4 shows, this is who I am. This is who I am, and I would much rather, if I end this show tonight and I walk down the hallway to get another beer and I die in that hallway, I would much rather die knowing that I stayed real and I wasn't fake, as opposed to being fake just to get famous.
Right. Yeah.
So I can 100% appreciate the hell out of that about you. The fact that you are like, fuck it, I'm gonna be me, and I'm, you're gonna make it on your own accord.
Yeah.
And if you don't, I don't think you won't. I think once you start getting into the ears and you start doing shows and stuff like that and doing what you're doing, I think you're gonna you're going to reach a level of success you didn't expect or you don't expect, man. You're very talented, brother. And I'm not just saying that because you're a guest on my show.
I
I'm saying
appreciate
that
it.
I mean that shit. You're very talented. You do some good music. Um, I'm looking forward to what the future holds for you. Um, but appreciate I can appreciate as a fan that you stayed real and that you're not being fake. And for you as a person, that's something that you should hold dear as well. Like I stayed true to myself and I didn't pretend to be something that I wasn't at the end of the day.
That's
So
what's up, man. I definitely appreciate that, and that's really what this album is too. Is just me just being me and being authentic, and I've had a couple of people like comment on stuff because I post on like TikTok and everything, and I don't just focus on one thing or the other. I'm just throwing it out there, just so it'll be on all these platforms because some people like things more than others.
mhm.
And I run into people that, they talk shit, this and that, try to clown on me, things like that, and I'm like, whatever, man. I was like, I really don't care. And if they're commenting, I just try to hit them with something like, I'm like, hey, man, you know what? I appreciate you listening anyway. And then some of them will just comment even more stuff. I'm like, hey, man, keep on commenting because you're feeding the algorithm. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, you should have been here at the beginning of this show. Brian's one of the hosts of Talking Shit. He's one of the guys on my network.
That's what's up, man.
He asked, how did you find your niche? We talked about that, man. I'm not going to ask him to repeat it. But no, I mean, and we have haters. And I feel the exact same way. We have people that we call lurkers. They watch every live show we do, like every episode. They watch us live. And I used to clown them and I used to make fun of them, but then I reached a point where it was like, I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I know you don't like, and it's not that they don't like the shows, they just don't like me personally.
Right.
You know what? I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for watching us live, for spending the entire 2 hours or an hour and a half, whatever the show is. Saturday nights we do a 6 hour show.
Oh, wow.
Because it's Saturday night, man. We're having fun. We're drinking. We got random people coming in and hanging out. We've got some regulars who started out as a random, but there's people out there who hate me and hate the shows because of me. But they will literally be in there from the time the show starts until the show ends. And it's like, you know what? I got to stop clowning on you guys because thank you guys, because you put that extra number in there and you put us in an algorithm. And like you said, dude, a part of me back in the day when somebody would comment with negativity, my first reaction was, all right, roast session on. Now I'm about to hurt your fucking feelings.
Yeah.
Now it's like, hey, thanks for checking out my video, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate you listening. I appreciate you commenting. If you're not already, make sure you hit that follow button. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Because I've been having this guy on TikTok that's been trolling me. Like every time I put some stuff out, he always says this is satire. He's like, this is absolutely satire. And I had to look it up because I've never used that word. So I looked it up. And it's supposed to be like, I guess, ironic or like, it's like not, it's like fake, basically.
Yeah.
And I was like, it kind of pissed me off. You know what I mean? At first, I was like, who the hell is this dude, man? I was like, you don't know me. You know what I mean? Like, you have no idea what my life is, what I've been through. And so how would you know these things? And that's why I commented at first. I was like, oh, man, I had no idea how well you knew me. You know what I mean? To be commenting these things. But eventually I was the same way. I was just like, hey, man, you know what? I appreciate you coming in here. You're watching what I'm doing. You're commenting on here multiple times. I was like, so whatever it is that entertains you in some way, like, cool. I'm glad I could be here for that.
Exactly. Sorry, Brian. I don't mean to be rude. Let me give you a real quick recap. It was his upbringing. It was a product of his environment. He's a third generation musician. His grandfather was a country singer, and his father was a country singer. Product of his environment. Grew up in the hood. Started rapping a little bit, and that's how he found his niche. Now he's got his country and his rap. Sorry, Brian. Don't mean to be rude.
Yeah.
I love you.
Nah, it's all good. And like a recap, it was my dad passing away a couple years ago that really brought me around into singing the country and everything, because I'd always kind of done it low key. So
Uh,
Brian's caught up
yeah,
a little bit.
Brian's a little slow. We call him, like I said, he's one of the hosts of Talking Shit. I love the guy. He's awesome. He's down in Florida. He's down in Florida, so he's a little special.
What part? That's funny. What part of Florida is he in?
They are kind of sort of closest to Tampa, I think. Where you guys at,
Okay.
Brian? Homosassa area, I think, somewhere in that area.
Okay. I got a lot of friends down there. That's why I was asking, because I lived down there for almost 10 years. You talking too fast.
We love Brian. We call Brian.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're a wrestling fan at all or anything like that, but wrestling fan or not, you know who Stone Cold Steve Austin is.
Oh yeah.
We call Brian a Wish version of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Dear Tampa, I thought they were relatively close to two.
Yeah. I was into wrestling when I was a kid. I used to love wrestling, and then when I found out it was fake, not really. It's not fake, but you know what I'm saying. It's staged.
Yeah, it's
a show.
It's scripted. It's sports entertainment. It's like watching I grew up. I've been a wrestling fan my entire life. My grandparents were huge wrestling fans. My parents were, they were they kind of got out of it. I've been a wrestling fan my whole life. Oh, excuse me. My son is 10, and he's all about wrestling right now, and which is cool, he's the one who picked out my intro music for the Friday night shows. He was like, you should use Cody's theme song, and I was like, you know what, I actually really do like this song. And for what I'm doing on Friday night, all right, buddy, I got it. For you, I got you, man. That's gonna be my intro song.
That's what's up.
Connor, you can go to hell. Connor's my co-host on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. So Connor's what I was saying that was an unlikely friendship. We worked at Abercrombie together. So
oh, okay. So now it makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, like a man. I mean, he was in the Air Force. He's a boy. Let's be honest.
And working at Abercrombie. No,
we were watching a movie the other night. It was it's a little bit older. It came out in like 15 or 16. I say it's older. But it was Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. And one of the kids in the movie called this douchebag Chad guy, who was his older sister's boyfriend, Aber blow me and bitch. I said, ooh, I got to tell Connor that. What's going on, Benj?
What's up, Connor?
Who needs haters when you have friends like him?
Yeah, true. They just keep you on your toes. I got a friend like that I play golf with.
Nice. No, I got absolutely. I've got the absolute best supporting cast for this network, and I don't mean to say supporting cast, but I have the absolute best group of guys that I could have found to do what we're doing. We all fuck with each other constantly, relentlessly, but nobody else is allowed to. At the end of the day, man, So okay, so this has become a thing, and it was purely by accident. I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to drop my camera down. I can still hear you, but I got
Okay.
as a very good friend of the show and part time co host says, I got to make my bladder gladder. But so this has come about purely accidentally on Friday nights. I've had artists on here who are huge Harry Potter fans, huge Star Wars fans, you know, blah blah blah. What is your nerd thing? What is one thing that if you told somebody they'd be like, "Wow, you're a nerd." What is your nerd thing?
Ah, man, my nerd thing. Okay, I got a couple of things. My first thought would be that playing Call of Duty, you know what I'm saying, is my nerd thing. But outside of Call of Duty, I would actually say my real nerd thing is I'm real into understanding our existence here on the planet, and I dig real deep into all these stories about like the Anunnaki and ancient Egyptians, um, things like that. I've never. I used to be into Star Trek when I was a kid, things like that. But I would say that's my nerdy thing. Is that and some people say I nerd out with the music stuff. Like I know certain things about doing music, like all the little ins and outs of like all these intricate little details about like compression and recording and all these little things. So I can nerd out on that stuff. But some people might think that's kind of cool. Uh, but I would have to say Call of Duty will be my nerdy thing, or like I said, man, the understanding of existence and looking out into space and just
Like that
thinking of,
meaning of life thing.
yeah, man. Well, it's not only just a meaning of life, man. For me, it's like I was raised up in a Church of Christ, going to Church of Christ church, and they're very legalistic, no music, no instruments, you know. And so it was like it bothered me. It made I feel like that's part of my rebellion in my teenage years was like because of that.
Yeah,
But I felt like it also kept me grounded in knowing that, you know what I'm saying, there's a creator that definitely, you know, like that cares about me. So, and I appreciate that. But I'm also like, some people are gonna, you know, will kill me for this, you know, because you know, like I go to church and things like that. But if I'm being completely honest, um, I can't honestly tell you, and this is just being me being real, keeping it completely 100. If I told you that I just believed every word that was in the Bible, I'd be lying to you. You know
mm,
what I mean? I feel like a lot of the stuff was taken from like ancient words and, you know, stories from around the world, and was used to control us. You know what I
mm,
mean? You know, certain people to control other human beings. And I know that God knows me, and so I don't feel any type of shame in that way because I'm like, God, you made me, so you can't really judge me for feeling this way because I know for a fact that this book was written by men.
mm.
You know what I mean? And you can't trust men. If you place your faith in men, you will be let down, you know. And so um so I kind of nerd out on that stuff because I like to understand like where all these things come from. And there's just a lot of stories, man. Like you heard of the guy Billy Carson? Billy Carson, man, he's got this TikTok channel, and he's got an app and all these things. It's called Forbidden Knowledge, but it's the number
Oh, okay,
four,
yeah.
Forbidden
Okay,
Knowledge.
I didn't recognize the name, but I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, and like lately, man, I've listened to the books like multiple times about like this is the stuff I nerd out on. The Emerald Tablet, the Emerald Tablets, Thoth the Atlantean and the Emerald Tablets, that and like Graham Hancock. He's got a book called The Fingerprints of the Gods. It's all about like there's an ancient civilization that disappeared and we don't know where they went and where this technology went. You know what I mean? And I believe in these theories about like the pyramid used to be like a power plant and things like that. And so that would be my nerd thing. Because some people are probably like, this dude's crazy. Before they were like, oh man, you're cool, man, and we like your music. And then I started talking about this, and they're like, all right,
Whoa.
man, you lost me.
You just got a bunch of fireworks behind you. I don't know what that was all about.
I have no idea. You know what's funny is sometimes I've done FaceTime with my wife and I do little hand gestures and random stuff happens.
That was really
You know what I mean? So maybe that's what it was. Yeah, hey, yeah. I can't get it to happen again. I was just bringing everybody back. That's what it was. All the people that I lost, I was bringing them back real quick.
No, I mean that, it's a level of understanding. It's a level of it's like a level of wanting to know knowledge. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I wanna get to the comments real quick here, and then I wanna kind of talk about what you just said here. Shit, where the hell are we at? With an accent like that, he plays golf. Fire! You know what? I think in all honesty, I really do think Connor said, would your music be played in Abercrombie? I think that some of your songs could be played.
I was gonna say that one song that Think About It, that country pop type song. Yeah. I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I could or definitely not Hot Topic. I don't think you're hot.
No. Although I don't know, maybe my Kurt Cobain song, that old song, that might work in Hot Topic.
Brian, I think we have our fourth in Call of Duty.
Oh yeah, let's go, man. Let's get it.
Mark and Brian from Talking Shit is who I play Call of Duty with, which I told Derek we were talking behind the scenes, and he said he was a Call of Duty guy, and I said, I'll send you a message on Instagram, and he's an Xbox guy too, so he can be in our party.
That's right.
Benji. Call of Duty Glick just got a hard on. It wasn't a full hard on. It was like a semi.
It was a semi.
Yeah, a little chub. Benji said he's about all this. Shut up, Brian. This is why you have no friends. When Connor's yelling at you, I think he thinks you're a witch. I'm the Y-Files guy. Kind of a conspiracy theory type stuff. Kind of not crazy. Just watch a lot of history podcasts.
Right. And that's what it is too. Is it's not as much conspiracy theory as much as we really don't know. You know what I mean? Like, we really don't know, and we only know what they've told us.
Yeah.
And look, man, I tell you this, man, this is in the history books, like the Library of Alexandria or whatever it is. They burned that library down. Well, that's what the history says, but also they say the Roman Catholics actually came in there and stole a bunch of that stuff, and they still have it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a bunch of knowledge and things that they know that they don't want the people to know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, my biggest thing with religion, and I struggled for years. I was brought up Christian. My mom would go through her phases, or she was a Jesus freak, and then she was like, my mom was a mess, man. God rest her soul, but my mom's she was a mess. She was an addict. Her drug of choice was prescription drugs, blah, blah, blah. But she would go through her phases. My grandfather was diehard religious, man. And they had it in their heads that I was going to be a preacher. I was going to be a preacher, man. I was going to be telling you the gospel. I mean, at the end of the day, with my personality, I would have been a hell of a preacher. I'm just saying. So it was forced down my throat, and it was shoved down my throat. And I think the Bible... ultimately, the Bible is left up to interpretation.
Yeah.
You could go to 6 Baptist church, Methodist churches, Catholic churches. You can put them all in a row. You can have 6 different pastors, preachers, fathers, whatever, read the same scripture, but interpret it differently. You're going to get 6 different interpretations, which is great. I mean, I think that's a good thing about the Bible. You know, the fact that you are left up to, you can read it, and you're able to take it how you want to take it. You know, interpret it how you want to interpret it. I've read the Bible. Unfortunately, fortunately, unfortunately, it was forced upon me. So I say fortunately, unfortunately. I've read it front to back, cover to cover. It's one of the few books I've actually read. I'm not going to go scripture for scripture or quote for quote with anybody like that, but I know enough to be dangerous. But I struggled with religion for a long time. I really have a major problem with organized religion. To each their own. I'm not going to judge anybody. You do what you do. At the end of the day, you know, and for me, in the last couple of years, and I'm still learning, I'm no expert, it's just what feels right to me, and it's what spiritually I'm happiest with. I've discovered Norse paganism, and I was doing it before every asshole on TikTok thought that they could throw on a fucking fake fur cloak and grab a shield and cosplay a Viking. Like, it was something that I got into because I actually started looking into it and reading into it, and I had some people that had been into it that were from the area, and it was something where I finally found spiritual peace, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So
what is it called again?
It's Norse paganism. It was basically the Viking religion before Christianity came in and forced everybody to be Christian.
Okay.
And basically all it is just be a good person, treat people right, live your life the way you want to live your life.
Dude,
not gonna
be kind to one another.
We're not going to look down on you for drinking. Like, you know, I've been in some churches where they're like, oh, you drank on Saturday night, you're going to hell. Really? Because I'm pretty sure Jesus turned water to wine.
That's right. And not only that, man, I was just at a Greek wedding last weekend. They had wine in the wedding. Like, it was part of the wedding.
Much love, brother. Yeah, exactly.
Stone cold out. Wish stone cold, though.
Yeah, wish stone cold out. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like, you know, that's the biggest thing with Norse paganism. And everybody hears paganism and they're like, oh, it's the devil. It's really not at the end of the day. But it's just where I've found spiritual peace. You know, this is where, and I'm still learning. By no means am I an expert on it at all. I don't know much about much, but I know that spiritually I'm happy. And spiritually,
well, look, these people can't really say nothing anyway, because we celebrate Christmas, we celebrate Easter, and these are all pagan holidays, you know what I'm saying, that were like brought together, mixed with Christianity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like that alone should tell you that there's some stuff we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they're intertwining these things.
Yeah. I don't know what pre-Judaism was.
Man, it's the Anunnaki, man. It's the Anunnaki, man. It was the Sumerians.
Bible thumpers are some of the biggest hypocrites in the world. I've witnessed it with my own eyes, you know. But I'm not going to judge them, you know.
No.
You know, I think it's, you know, like you said, you go to church on Sundays, and that's where you find your. At the end of the day, it's all about finding spiritual peace. You want to be at peace with who you are and what you're doing, and who you are as a person, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. We don't do a lot of religious talk on the network, but I'm down for it as long as it's good conversation. I don't want to yell and scream at each other. I don't want to be like, oh, fuck you, Derek, you're a Christian. You
right.
Because then you'd be like, well, Glick, you're a goddamn pagan, and you're going to hell because you worship Satan. Well, sounds like a good time down there. Trust me.
I'd be lying if I told you anyway. You know what I'm saying? Anything like that, because I have no idea what's the truth. You know what I mean? And that's what bothers me about some of the stuff, man, with the churches is that you get these preachers and these pastors who are like so deep in the Bible that they have their ego and they don't realize that they have their ego and they feel like, oh, well, I understand this way better than you do. And I'm like, yeah, well, have you read the Torah? Have you read these other religion books? Because if you haven't, then you're just reading one side of the story. I was like,
Well,
you got to read everything.
and that's the other thing. How much of, because if we look back on history, wow, I did not think this conversation was going to go this route tonight. But
I know, right?
Yeah, if you look back on it, like you said, Easter, Christmas, whatnot. They're pagan. How much of other religions? Because I mean, obviously, you have Greek mythology and their Greek gods. You have Buddha. You have Buddhism. You have
Well, that's my thing is look at all these ancient stories from around the world, and it's all like they say, oh, that's mythology. But it's like, okay, well, in the Bible, there's a bunch of mythological stories too, but this is true, but that's not true.
Some experts have come out and said that Jesus never actually walked on water. He walked on the edge of the water, and if you were far enough back, it appeared as though he was walking on water. And it's just
Right.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, nobody really honestly. Does anybody really honestly think that there's some guy called Zeus that's casting down lightning bolts or banging mortals? I mean, maybe I don't know because I wasn't there.
That's what I was going to say. We weren't there, so we have no idea. But you know what, though? Look at these pyramids that are here and these hieroglyphs that have been here for thousands and thousands of years, right? You know what I'm saying? But where's everything else? What else on the planet is like that? Like we have like some other pyramids, but nothing quite like that. Like there's similar things, but nothing like that. And then these people did these hieroglyphs and then they were able to, obviously they could draw all these things and they could show exactly animals, like what these different animals were, all these different things. And then all of a sudden they draw these like space looking things and people are like, oh, well, they're just tripping. They're just making stuff up. And I'm like, oh, okay. So they knew exactly what these other things were, but they're tripping over here. Like, what? Like, no.
I mean, it's the Egyptian pyramids, the ancient Egyptian pyramids, and this is a whole other topic of conversation. I think, real quick, Jarvis said, I just hate the ones who go to church and then treat people like shit or twist the words around.
That's right.
Agree with Derek. The egos nowadays, some pastors are absolutely ridiculous. I agree.
I had a conversation with one of the pastors at the church recently, man, because he was asking me to like be part of this group about reaching out to people about church. And I was like, well, here's the thing, man. Are you trying to get people to church just to prop up the church? Because I get it. You got to pay bills. I was like, but if that's the goal, then that's not right. I was like, we're supposed to be reaching people to just teach them about the story. I was like, and that's what you're supposed to be doing. So do you really want to just reach the people so they can better themselves? You know what I'm saying? And they can have a relationship with God. I was like, if that's what you want to do, then that's a different thing from getting people to the church. You know what I'm saying? Because
you really trying to reach them, or you trying to pad your pockets to pay for that Cadillac and that nice house you got. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. You want to do it for the right reasons. And again, I got to tell you, man, I appreciate you for that. The fact that you're looking out and trying to do it for the right reasons, and what you believe in and how you feel. That's what you want to bring people to. You want people to, kind of see that, which is admirable at the end of the day, as opposed to, well, how am I going to bring more money into the church? How am I going to bring more money?
Exactly. And that's what I told him. I said, man, we could start by, first of all, you can admit that we don't know the truth. Let's start there. Like instead, people like to draw that line. They're like, no, I know that I know. I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you don't believe that Jesus died and was resurrected, then you're going to hell. And I'm like, whoa, hold up, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't say that. I was like, because you don't know what happened. Like, you got to come at people and ask some questions. How about that? People don't like being told what to do. So how about you come at somebody and actually be concerned about their life, ask them some questions, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? This, that, the other. Then you can tell them your experience and what your relationship with God is. And then if they want to ask you questions, and they, at the end of the day, they will lead themselves to where they need to be. You see what I'm saying?
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
That's right. And like I said earlier, man, keep it simple, man.
Yeah.
The commandments. All right. It's very simple. You look at the commandments. We all agree we shouldn't kill one another. We shouldn't steal from one another. We shouldn't covet. We shouldn't commit adultery. Those things are wrong. And then when it breaks it down, the one thing that you come to is the very first one. People are like, oh, well, God's narcissist because he's like, love God first. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. And I was like, well, what do you expect of your children? You want them to love you and respect you, right? You're like, I gave you life. Okay, so there is a creator, you know what I mean? No matter like whatever you call him, whatever it is, or her, whatever you want to say, okay, there's a creator to this existence that we wouldn't even know exists. And so all he's saying, in my opinion, is to have gratitude. Be thankful for having this opportunity to live this life that we wouldn't even know exists.
Yeah, man.
That's all.
Whatever you believe in, however you feel, then feel that way, believe that way. Whether you're Christian,
Right.
Baptist, Methodist, which basically they're Christians as well, Catholic, atheist, Buddhist, whatever it is, whatever you believe in. And again, I hate to go back to it because I've said it so much, but it's about having that spiritual peace. I mean, whatever puts you at ease, whatever puts you at peace in your life, because at the end of the day, we have no idea what happens once we're gone.
That's right.
I mean, whether there's a heaven, there's a hell, there's a purgatory, there's, or it's just we're done, we're gone, or do we float around as ghosts? Are we?
Right.
Like we don't know because I mean, people have said like, oh, I died on an operating table and I seen a white light, but did you really know? I mean,
right. That could all be in your head, you know. And here's the thing: this is why I was saying this to that pastor I was talking to at the time. I'm like, I think it's more into the story of Jesus. I was like, leave the miracles out of it. Just what Jesus was saying was, be kind to one another. Don't judge one another. You know what I'm saying? And you know what he said every time too? He never said go out and go to church. He never said go out and do all these other things. And every time like he did do something for somebody, like somebody was like he healed a blind man, different things like that. He told them you were healed by your faith. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. Whatever we believe, like it's literally what we can make our lives to be. And I mean, like that's literally how life works. If you can see it and you can believe in it, then you can actually go out and do it, you know?
But I gotta my boy Blazin in the building. This is Blazin is one of our recent friend. I love this cat to death. I love him to death. He's one of my part-time co-hosts on the network. He pops in from show to show. Monday night he filled in a big way for me. He loves this. He loves this stuff. You guys said there was a hard on when we brought up Call of Duty. Well,
all right.
Really gets my juices flowing. Full on hard on from Blazing.
And this all came from you asking me, man, what was my nerd thing?
Yeah, right.
You know
exactly.
what I'm saying?
Hey, Connor, you're not wrong there, brother. If you leave me to beer,
right, that's right.
Yeah, trust me, I already hinted at that jar of Vichy. No, I think that comes back to what we were saying earlier about we were talking about you finally doing this music thing, you finally making this music thing a real thing, man. For so long in your head, you had all the I'm too old, I'm not good enough, I'm a white guy doing quote unquote rap music. What am I doing? Blah blah blah. Whatever.
Yeah.
It comes down to a mental state of mind, and
Mm-hmm.
believing that, hey, I'm gonna do this shit. I'm gonna create good music. I know I can. It's in my blood. I mean, obviously, it's in your blood. You're third generation, man. It's
Right.
in your blood. At the end of the day, like
Yeah.
you to not make music is a goddamn sin.
Right.
So it's getting that mental block out of the way, and if you believe it, then it'll be real. You have to believe it to make it happen, and it's kind of where what this discussion is. Excuse me, with religion and da 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 da. I could mope around here and I could walk around here. Oh, my hip hurts, my leg hurts, my knee hurts, my back hurts, my shoulder hurts, and I can fall into that world, or it's like, oh man, I don't have money for this, I don't have money for that, blah blah blah, and give up all hope and give up all belief. But the moment you start to go, you know what, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to do this. My back don't hurt that bad. I can go to the gym today. This song is actually a good song. I wrote something really good here. My podcast isn't as bad as I think it is. I do a good thing here, man. I got a great group of guys and we're having fun. The moment you start believing, things start to
That's
change.
right.
You
That's
know,
right.
it's that power of positivity at the end of the day.
It really is, man. It is what you believe. And I know that people will be like, oh, it's corny, it's cliche, but that really is what it is. It's your perspective. And you can have a negative perspective. And look, I say this because I have firsthand experience. I was ungrateful. I didn't appreciate things. I was egotistical. You know what I mean? And then as I got older, my life was always like, it wasn't great at all, like, and then as I got older, I came around and I started to begin to practice being grateful. And that's when my life started to change. And when I started to see these things like, oh, if I believe that I can do these things, I can make them happen. And I just know it from living proof. Like, a few years back, man, my life was in the gutter. I had got divorced. I was down and out. Hell, COVID almost killed me. Just being honest, man. Like, the COVID almost took me out, man. Like, don't get me wrong, I wasn't taking care of myself at the time. I was like living really bad, eating real bad. I was hanging out with some friends, man, drinking. We did a little cocaine here and there. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I was not treating my body well.
Yeah.
And then I got COVID, didn't realize I had COVID. It almost took me out. And life was really bad. Well, I say really bad. On the surface, it was really bad, seemed that way. And then I started meditating and doing some yoga and things like that. And I was like, I'm going to be better. I'm going to be better for myself. Like, all I got is this time here, and all I can do is what I can do. I can control what I can control. And man, my life has turned around like completely just from believing and being grateful. Like, I'm talking about, man, I was living in a little 1-bedroom house, and I'm talking about like a little crappy little house. Okay. Like, it almost, I don't want to talk too much trash about the house, but it was almost like living in a shack. Okay. I was like, I was damn near living in a shack. Okay. I didn't have a vehicle. I was driving a company vehicle that they let me borrow at the time. To fast forward to now, I'm living in a really nice house. I got a beautiful wife. I drive, like, my truck's like a nice, like, newer truck, man, low miles. I have my own nice studio over here.
I'm gonna ask you real quick because you said you got a truck.
Yeah.
Maybe Ford or Dodge.
Well, let me preface that. If I was being honest, I would probably have a Chevy right now just because I grew up, Chevy. But I ain't gonna lie, I like F-150s. but I'm driving a Ram because it was my dad's truck.
Oh, okay. All
So
right.
so you know what I mean? So he passed and so I like inherited the truck. So you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. I was getting ready to bust your balls, but I won't bust your balls.
Right.
No, man. That's the thing, man. Sometimes, yeah, Michael's back. Welcome back, Michael. I don't know if you've been here the whole time, but what's going on? Be grateful. It's a gift to yourself.
Man,
Sometimes
facts.
you need that humbling experience, man. You really need to be humbled, and like you said, you went through a divorce not too long ago, and I went through a divorce. Or my ex-wife left me, and I went through a divorce, and and we was living home to me. I don't. It's weird to me. I'm born and bred in Ohio, man. Um, I think my kids are fourth or fifth generation Ohioans, but Ohio's never felt like home to me. When I moved us down to South Carolina, Charleston has always felt like home to me. That is the only place I've ever felt like in my life that I was home. When my ex-wife left me, and I say she left me because she did. She left me for another man. It is what it is. Um, it doesn't make me any less of a man. It is what it is. Um, I was working for a company. I was making well over six figures a year. Had a big, beautiful home, 3-story house. You know, just right by the beach on the coast. Just they were living life. I was so fixated with work, uh, but like we had a good life. And when we split up the first year we were apart, I was like, wow, like I'm really doing good things here. And then she decided to come back home to Ohio with my kids, and it was like, well, this fucking sucks because I can't do anything about it. And I gave
Yeah.
all that up, and I came back home to Ohio, and I had a weird relationship situation uh, with a high school girlfriend. We weren't together, but we did all the things that a couple does. I don't know. It was a weird dynamic. It was a weird situation, and it was finally reached a breaking point where it was like I got to get out, and I got my first apartment. I felt like I was starting all over again from an 18-year-old, being 18-year-old or 18 years old. And I had this little 700 square foot apartment. It was 3 bedrooms, but it was like 700 square feet, man. It was tiny.
I'm gonna say those are some small bedrooms.
Yeah. No, they were my son's bedroom was actually before they renovated the building. My son's bedroom was the front entrance, and it was the breezeway. And then when they remodeled the building and put all the doors on the back of the building, they turned these breezeways where you walk in and take your shoes off and hang your coats up in the closet into a bedroom. At the time, he was 5 or 6 years old, so it wasn't that big a deal.
Right.
It was a very small apartment. And then a couple years about 2 years ago, I got custody of the kids. They're with me full time. And then I upgraded to where I'm at now, which we've actually outgrown at this point, but it works. It's condo, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It was more than double what we had, whatever. But I literally started all over again, making $13 an hour. And I'm like, man, I was making well over six figures a year. Now
Yeah.
I'm really making 35,000, you know. But it was a humbling experience, which, a lot of people would be like, they would let them keep them down. And for me, it was like, nah, I fought too long, too hard. This is a hiccup. This is a curveball I wasn't expected.
Hmm.
I'm down on the count in baseball. It's 3-2, bottom of the ninth. Everybody's dependent on me, and this bitch hits me with a curveball when I'm thinking a fastball's coming, and I swing on it, and I miss. And instead of letting it hold me, yeah, obviously I stayed in that moment for a little bit, but it was like, all right, it's time to get back. You pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and let's fucking rock and roll. I'm not making the money I used to make, but I'm getting there. But life is much better. And like I said, I got custody of my kids. I got 3 kids, and they're with me full time. Well, not now because it's summertime, so week on, a week off. Which I'm not gonna lie, I do enjoy the weeks where they're gone. I love my
Yeah,
kids.
yeah,
I love my kids to death.
yeah.
But, it's a big difference from mom has them every weekend, but those 3 days as opposed to 7 days, it's nice to kind of all right. Let me but I feel like I'm more accomplished now than I was then when I had the job with the income and the nice house and I had a company vehicle, so I didn't need a car, but my ex-wife had a nice car. I made sure she stayed in a nice car, you know what I mean? Um, and then I'm like, oh, I'm on my second brand new car since I've left Charleston. Before I left Charleston, I bought my first brand new car ever, and I had that for 4 years, and I traded it in. Got another new car, and now I'm looking at my car, and I'm like, she's grown, she graduated, she's about to be doing her own. It's about time for Daddy to get a truck. I got
Yeah.
the extended cab because I still got the other 2 kids, but I'm okay with that, And then it's like, all right,
Yeah.
now it's time to. But I feel like I'm in a better place and I'm more accomplished now than I was when we were in Charleston. And it was all about that humble factor, man. I had to be humbled. I really did.
Yeah, I think we all need to be humbled in some ways. Humility is a blessing, to be honest.
Uh, Sometimes we need that kick in the teeth. And like I said, not only that, but I started doing this podcasting thing.
That humility, man, what it is, it's an ego killer. And we have to kill that ego.
100%. 100%.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because we like to think we're really special because we're human beings and we think we're like so special. And it's like, we're not that special.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're not. Michael said you have to believe in your secret dreams. Keep moving forward. Each and every. Amen to that, brother. I can.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's exactly right.
That's the thing, And I know the guys give me shit. I don't know if the guys are still in here, but they give me shit. I call myself the champ. I have a custom made championship belt. Don't judge me. It is what it is. But it's a character. It's a fun character to play. And I don't play it all the time. It's just a fun character to play on the show from time to time. But also, it's a reminder. When I look up on the wall, I'm like, God damn, I'm really doing this. Like,
That's right.
I'm sure you. I mean, I would assume, and I think most musicians, because you guys are chasing a dream, I'm assuming you have something that makes you go, holy shit, I'm really doing this.
Dude, when I finished this album, man, not when I finished it, when the guy sent me the masters, like he sent me the whole thing with the masters all done. It was 12 songs. It really was like quite a feeling for me. I was like, damn, I did this. And when I started from this one song and I was like, hey, I'm going to do this. I had no idea what it was going to be, what it was going to look like, what it was going to, you know what I mean, at all. And it just all come together. And I'm like, this is just really cool because I've never done this before. I've made a lot of music, but I just, you know what I mean? So
you never put yourself out there.
That's right.
And as much as the guys give me hell, and as much as I play into it with calling myself the champ and everything like that, hey, surprise, guys! I don't know if you're still listening, and if you're not, then fuck you because you're never going to hear this. But in all honesty, they're hanging on my wall, and they're hanging right in front of me. And there's several times during the podcast or during the show, I look up at them and I'm like, holy shit, I'm really doing this.
That's right.
Like we are really doing this, and we're having fun doing it, man.
And that right there is one of those. That's a visualization thing. You know what I mean? Like you bought something. I don't know why you did it, but you bought that thing. You know what I'm saying? And you put it up there, And that was you believing in the moment before it was coming to fruition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's what that is.
Not and Jarvis, I'm not being that guy, but I do want to show you.
Yeah.
This is a full size championship.
Yeah. Let's go.
This some bitch is like 8 fucking pounds, leather.
Let's go.
This is this is like, and it's got my original show logo and everything on it, man.
The champ is here.
It's actually I've actually got 2 of them because the first one they sent me was defective and the company felt bad. Shout out to TrophySmack.com. They're not a paid sponsor, but they felt bad, so they sent me a brand new one, and I was like, "Do you want me to send the other one back?" And they're like, "Nah." So this one very rarely comes off the wall because this is the full ass belt with the logo and everything.
Don't lie. Sometimes you pull it off and you wear it and walk around in there.
It's got nonsensical nonsense. It says nonsensical nonsense podcast, the champ. I got the little logo right there that has Glick on it. No, actually, the one that I do pull off the wall and I mess around with when we're doing the show is the defective one. So you can see.
Oh, okay.
The defective one just only has the logo left on it.
Yeah.
And it's got the side plates. So there's a lot of times when we're doing the show where I'll be doing the show and I'm just like, yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because if I had one, I'd have to put it on every once in a while. Just kind of look at myself in the mirror.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the guys. Oh yeah, and I'll make TikToks with it, and I'm holding it up, and I like holding it up, and I wish it would fit around my waist, but I got to get back in the gym, and maybe one day it'll. But that one that I have there, I pull that out on the show. I bring it out. I talk shit, man. I go full on character mode with it. But no, they really are. They're reminders, and there's a lot of times, even when I'm not doing the show, I just walk back here in the bedroom and I just look at it, man. Sometimes I walk by and give it a tap. If I got a beer in my hand, I fucking cheers my belt because it's like, wow, I'm really doing this. Like,
That's right.
And I think everybody who finally chases their dream and everything like that, they should have that moment or have that piece of something where they're like, yeah, this is me doing my thing. And it sounds like you've got an amazing support system behind you.
I do, man. My wife, really. I mean, it's my family as well, but my wife is like, I mean, I couldn't have a better person, man. Like some people, you know what I mean, are like they have a significant other and it's almost like they deal with them. You know what I mean? And it's not like that for me at all. It's amazing. I've been blessed. And like I said, to come from what I came from, especially in the previous marriage and everything, is just like, it's like I said, I visualized this. And I told a friend of mine about it. I was like, when all this is going on, I would talk to him all the time. And I told him these things. And I really didn't even think about it. I just been living my life. And he recently, you know what I mean, within the last few months, he had told me, he said, dude, I'm seeing it. He was like, you don't remember telling me these things? He was like, and now you're like, this is happening. And I'm like, dude, I was like, you ain't lying, man. That's what's up.
Yeah, no, that's what I tell the guys, and Jeff, the guy who created the podcast with me, my best friend since high school, he already knows, like without me telling him, we've started this network, which was my ultimate dream, was to have a network of shows. And the guys are like asking me, and they're like, and he's even said like, yo, Glick has already got this figured out, man. He really does. Like, he's already played out every scenario in his fucking head over and over and over again. He's already got it planned out and figured out. And he knows the questions you're going to ask before you ask them, and he already has the answers. So just in the fucking boat and enjoy the goddamn ride at the end of the day. And it's cool because, I seen on social media, your wife, she's doing her thing.
Oh, yeah.
She's in real estate, correct?
Yeah, she's a loan officer.
Yeah, she's doing her thing, and I I haven't looked at her social media, but I've seen on your social media. Yeah, you put her up there, and you
Right.
promote her and support her, and that's really cool that you guys have that relationship where you guys are pushing each other and
Hmm.
look, this is your thing. I want you to succeed. I'm gonna push you. I'm gonna put you on here. I'm gonna support you. I'm gonna shout you out. And that's really cool. My fiance, I understand her sometimes her frustrations with the podcasting stuff that I do because it does eat up a lot of my time. And I still work a 9 to 5, quote unquote 9 to 5, doing the kid thing, trying to be a partner, and then doing the podcasting thing. I like my plate is full, man. But it's like I'm really trying here. You got to understand. Eventually, maybe one day I don't have to work a 9 to 5. You don't have to work a 9 to 5. I just do this podcasting thing, and she is very supportive. But I also understand the frustration that comes with it as well. When you're trying to climb that mountain, so to say. Do you,
Hmm.
and I say that when I ask you guys, do you guys ever have that with your relationship where she's like, "Come on, man, can you? It's Friday night. Can you not go to the studio tonight?"
Well, you know what's funny is she texted me a few minutes ago, like, and she said, "You still doing the podcast?" You know what I mean? And like, it's one of those things. Like, she's actually really cool about it. We have had, you know what I'm saying, like a couple of times where, I mean, there might be a couple of times, man, where it's a little something, but it's just a human being thing. And it's more of, you know what I'm saying, somebody wanting you because y'all are together, you know what I'm saying, to give
Yeah,
them your attention.
yeah,
But they
exactly.
also understand that you had this dream and this vision. And so this needs your attention as well. You know what I'm saying?
And I don't want to hold you up, man. If you got to go, you got to go. That's cool.
No,
I'm
I
not
mean,
kicking you out of here by no means.
yeah, no, I am about ready, but really, I mean, I'm honestly gonna go over here, be like, "Hey, babe, love you," you know what I'm saying, everything, and I'm gonna hop on the Call of Duty most likely.
Jervishi.
Uh,
Pulled on my heartstrings, Jarvis. I wouldn't be who I am today without my wife, my adopted dad. They both saw something in me, and now a Squatch sees something in me. Part of Stop pulling on my heartstrings, Jervishi. Nah, um, no, man. Like I said, I mean, I told you from the get go, I'm not going to be the one to pull an e brake, but I'm not going to hold you. I'm not going to hold you captive.
right. Nah, man, this has been great, and I forgot who said it earlier, man. Said something about, man, that Monday night podcast. That actually might be something about, maybe me coming on there. Um, Holler at me about it, man. I'd like to check it out. When you was talking about it, like, I meant that, man. I think it sounds really cool, man. That's something
Yeah.
really good. The men's
Uh,
mental health, and I'd like to pop in and maybe talk a little bit.
yeah, absolutely. We don't schedule a lot of guests on there, so I mean, it's an open forum or an open
Yeah.
door. Um, all the we are up to date, current with all of our episodes. On all the podcasting platforms, whether you listen to Spotify or Apple or Google
Right.
or whatever you listen to, we are up to date with our most recent episode. We talked Monday night. We talked with Kevin Spurtis. He is an actor, singer. He was on Days of Our Lives, One Life to Live.
Oh, that's cool.
Jarvis, I'll get to it. He was also in Friday the 13th. But he has a new show on Prime. Well, it's a couple years old, but they're getting ready to do the third season. It's called After Forever, and it's about um, Kevin. Kevin is openly gay, but it is about a gay couple who Kevin is dealing with loss, losing his partner, and what happens afterwards, and going through the grief and everything like that. 5-time Emmy winner. Kevin is I absolutely adore Kevin. I love Kevin. I think he's a genuine, beautiful soul. He was great. He came on Monday night with us, and we talked loss and grief. It was a great show. But this Monday night we're going to cover chasing our dreams. Chasing whatever it is that you want to go for. So he's gonna be meeting the guys. But yeah, man, anytime you want to come on, we'll stay in contact. And I stay in contact with all my guests. I've had my brother from another mother, my boy Rackley, he's been on here. I've had Hunter Lott on here. Hunter Lott and I talk. We don't necessarily like text or phone calls, but we conversate with chat or comments and stuff almost on a regular basis. The guys from the Southern Outlaw Band, they've been on here. We chat, whether it be in comments or whatever. And last week I had Josh Merritt on here. He was an amazing guy. And we talked about his music, but also we got into real conversation like you and I did tonight.
Right.
Your dad and being and doing all the things that comes with that. And him and I have been chit-chatting and whatnot. But I try to stay in contact with all my guests and obviously promote the hell out of your guys' shit. And something new coming up. And I already got permission from you, so I don't have to ask it from you now. We stay playing your guys' music. Anytime you drop something new, especially if it comes out, which is not unlikely. The only time I don't play new music is on Friday nights because I want to focus on the artist I have here. But the rest of the week, if you drop something that comes out on a Tuesday, it's getting played Wednesday night.
That's what's up.
It's getting played Wednesday night. Saturday, same.
And then I was going to tell you too, man, I know a couple of guys, man, I'll turn you on to, man, just to check out that a couple of talented guys that you could check out that you may or may not want to have them on here or something, but they're music artists. And so you might like it.
I was actually going to say, absolutely. I encourage all the artists who come on here. Hit me, send them my way. Be like, hey,
yeah, for sure.
Check out my guy Glick and send them the socials and I'll check them out and if it's good fit. I mean, ultimately, what it boils down to is if I like you, I'm bringing you on here. I don't care what anybody else thinks.
Right.
If I like you, if I like your music, I'm bringing you on at the end of the day.
And bro, I ain't gonna lie, I gotta pee so freaking bad right now.
Go ahead. Let me play. If I can steal you just for a few more minutes. Let me play. I really like this song. Let me play. It was all a dream.
Okay.
This is older, and if I can get you to come back.
Yeah, that's perfect.
About the show because I'm going to do the same thing. I'm also going to go get some refills.
Okay.
And then we'll close out the show so you can go get to
COD. Yeah, all right, that's what's up.
All right, man. We're gonna do this is a little bit older song from our guy Derek. It's called "It Was a Dream." It was all a dream, and we'll be right back to close the show out.
I bet.
It was all a dream. It was all a dream. Then I woke up into reality. Yeah, it was all a dream. Who was it? Just depends who does it. Who you was, who you wasn't, who you loving, who's loving. You see, dreams are dreams until we believe. You can't possibly conceive what you can achieve. With a leap of faith and a heap of bravery, you see the way courageous flee when they see what God made for me. Cause they hate for me. That's no way to be. Awake and see the savory grace that God gave to me. If they blind, God make them see. If they mind what I'm doing, make a way for me. I'm not trying to be fake just to make some green. And I'm not lying in their face just to make the team. Yeah, everything ain't always what it seems. It was all a dream. Yeah, everything ain't always what it seems. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, salt and pepper and heavy D up in the limousine. I'm just a human being, and everything ain't always what it seems. It was all a dream until I woke up and opened my eyes and start to soak up the bulk of my pride. Surprise, these guys lied, they wouldn't survive. So why divide a way of the wise? And I decide, cause I surmise that your disguise isn't authorized. I cut off the ties, you run off and hide with your flaws inside and all your lies. What an awful life that the enemy lives, but the remedy gives, and in him he lives. Who believes? Yeah, so forgiveness it is for this Tennessee kid who believe that this is what it be. Yeah, yes I believe in a dream, but who believes in me? To see what's yet to be seen. Look, all it takes is a seed. We've all been unclean, so it seems. We seem to think, but there is a king who redeems and brings human beings where the stars is. Let's get it started. One of the hardest things is to be heartless. So spark this, march and start marching. We all Martians, yeah, who face hardships. Proceed with caution, or throw caution to the wind and heed the calls from within. I stand tall in my Tim, taking off in the wind, cause I'm calling on him. It was all the king. Yeah, everything ain't always what it seems. Yeah, it was all the king. I used to read Word Up magazine. It was all the king. I'm just a human being, and everything ain't always what it seems. Yeah, it was all the king. Yeah, it was all the king. It was all the king. Yeah, everything ain't always what it seems. It was all the king. I used to read Word Up magazine.
Some good shit right there. I was a little bit older too.
Oh man, I made it back just in time.
You're good. Hey, you know what? You're good, bro. Every time I said I got to drop my camera down, I let you talk. Fortunately, I'm in my bedroom, so my master bath is literally like 10 feet away. So it was just like,
Nice.
I'm gonna let my man talk. I'm gonna turn my camera off, and I'm gonna go make my bladder gladder at the end of the day.
That's right.
This is where I suck as a host because I always mean to ask you guys when I do these interviews at the beginning and then somewhere in the middle and then at the end, and I always wind up doing it at the end. But let everybody know where they can find you at, man, on social media. Let everybody know where they can find what you're doing at.
Derek Wayne Douglas. I mean, it's pretty simple, man. For me, anywhere, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it's all literally at Derek Wayne Douglas, exactly how it's spelled, DEREK, which you can see it on the screen. And everywhere, like you can stream music, Spotify, wherever, Derek Wayne Douglas. The only place that it's not like that, because they refuse to respect my wishes of changing my name, is Apple Music. For some reason, Apple Music will not change my name from Wayne Beats, because I used to upload my beats and I started off doing my music as Wayne Beats. And then I added a completely another artist name, which is just my full name, and started releasing music as just my name. And Apple will not change my name. So it's Derek Wayne Douglas everywhere except for Apple Music. It's Wayne Beats. So
I just went through that. I just went through that struggle on Spotify, trying to change everything around. You know what I mean? Because everything's still nonsensical nonsense. And it took me a hot minute to figure it out, but I finally figured out how to change everything. But when I was looking at some of your older stuff, I was like, Wayne Beats, man, I really hope this is him.
Yeah, that's me.
I'm about to play somebody else's music, and I'm gonna come back and he's gonna be like, "Yo, that's not me, bro."
Nah, that's me. That's me.
So I had to do some research, just so you know, when I was listening to the music. But man, I really do sincerely. I appreciate you being here, man. It means the world for me. It means the world to me because I'm trying to gain a reputation as a podcast host where uh, I don't want musicians to think that I'm trying to clown them or anything. This is legit, man. I'm literally trying to give you guys a platform, a stage to get acknowledged and for people to find you. Um, so it really does mean the world for me when artists come up and they're like, or when I reach out and you was quick with it, man. You're like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's fucking do it, and we stayed in constant communication, building up even up until today. We were still in communication, so it means the world to me. Because I want this to be a legitimate thing. I want this to be a serious thing, and I don't take it lightheartedly. Because I know you guys are doing your thing, and you guys are really trying to succeed and make a name for yourselves and blow up in the music industry. And if I can be a small part of that, getting you out there, then that's all I want to do. Mainly because I'm a fan. I stumble across you guys on Instagram, YouTube, wherever I might come across you guys, and I'm truly a fan. I get excited when I see your Instagram story or your Instagram post where you got something new coming out or an album dropping. I really do, and it doesn't just get played on here; it get played across the board. Again, 7 shows, 4 of them I host. 4 of those shows, I'm playing your music. And if it fits in on a Monday night show, I'm sliding it in. So thank you. I really do appreciate it, man. I appreciate you taking time out of your night, your evening, to come hang out with me and shoot the shit. We'll get in contact. Like I said, man, anytime you want to come on a Monday night, you are absolutely, the door's fucking open, man.
Yeah, man. And
the
I
door's open- door's open.
appreciate you doing this too, man. I appreciate you having me on. You know what I mean? 1,000%. And I will say this as the last thing that I had my new song, my very first country song came out today. So when we get off, man, check it out or whenever, you know what I'm saying? Maybe tomorrow, whatever.
Is it
And,
up on?
huh?
Is it on YouTube?
It'll be on YouTube. Yeah, it'll be anywhere that they stream. It should be on YouTube. It should. I don't see why it wouldn't be.
What's
And
the name of
then
what's the name of the song?
it's called My Little Sunshine.
Okay, if it's on YouTube, I'll be playing it tomorrow night. I
And
promise.
then the album comes out next Friday, June 14th.
Hi, baby.
My album Country as I Want to Be comes out. So I just want to say that way, you know what I'm saying, whoever's watching.
Make sure y'all go stream that shit. Make sure y'all go get that shit wherever you get music.
And then come find me on Instagram and let me know what you think about it.
Absolutely. And if
Yeah.
the new song, if I can get it on YouTube, I'll be playing it tomorrow night on the show.
Yeah, it's on there. I'm sure. I haven't went and looked, but it's on there because I've had it uploaded. All this music's been uploaded for months.
Yeah, it'll be on tomorrow night's show.
All right, that's what's up, man. Hey, I'm gonna holler at you anyway. I'm gonna message you on Instagram. I'm gonna give you my phone number.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And again, man, I appreciate it.
Real quick, we're gonna wrap this bad boy up. I always wrap every show up with whether you want to call them words of wisdom or a closing thought or whatever. You got anything for the people out there listening that you want to tell them?
Well, probably 2 things. First thing is be kind. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, just be kind to one another. We all come from different places. Don't judge. Don't be so quick to judge. And the other thing would be be open-minded, man. Don't be open-minded to things that sound crazy, like visualization. You literally can do anything you want to do in this world if you just choose to believe in it and take some time to believe in yourself, man. And I don't mean just, oh yeah, I could do that. I mean, like, literally take some time out of your day to sit down, think about this thing that you really want to do. Close your eyes and imagine it being true right now. Like, how would you feel? How would you act? You know what I mean? If it was actually true right now. And if you'll do that for yourself and try to do it every day, even if you only do it for like a minute or 2 to start with, and you only do it a couple times a week, try to build up to doing it. and I promise you could change your life. Like gratitude, that's the one thing too. It's gratitude is really what it is. Be thankful. If you run into traffic and you're mad about somebody cutting you off or whatever, be thankful that you're in traffic. You're driving, you have something to drive, you're headed somewhere for a reason. Find something to be grateful for. So be kind, believe in yourself, and be grateful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, you haven't heard this in a long time from me, so I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. When you find yourselves at the crossroads in life, and you don't know where you're going and you don't know what you're doing, and you got the little demon on your shoulder and you got the little angel on your other shoulder, just remember to ask yourself one thing, 5 letters, 5 words, WWNND. What would the Nonsensical Network do? Be good or be good at it, you sons of bitches.
That's it.